Please welcome the teams for today's clash between our visitors, Norwich City.
Teams are out and Blackburn have just gone into their huddle to our left-hand side. The former Canary, or two former Canaries in the centre of it, Todd Cantwell and Adam Forshaw. I'll give you their lineup in a moment. But the Norwich team news, if you're just joining us in the spring sunshine on a chilly day at Ewood Park. Norwich have got Angus Gunn in goal, Fischer, Duffy, Cordoba and Crescenny at the back, Nunez, Sorensen and Slimani in midfield, Dobbin and Sainz in the wide positions. Informed Josh Sargent up front, 7 goals in his last 6 appearances. How key he is to Norwich City's aspirations of finishing in the top 6. You see Todd Cantwell standing over the ball in the centre circle. He's going to have the first touch of this game as Blackburn get us underway. Their team, Ainsley Pears in goal. Britton, Carter, Hyam and Ribeiro the defenders. Travis, Forshaw, the two central midfielders, with Cantwell, I think, playing in the number 10 position. They've got Augustus Cogbo on the right, Tyree Stolen on the left, and the 6'5" Maktar Gay as the striker, who will keep Cordoba and Duffy occupied. Lots of players up against their old teams here. I've mentioned Cantwell and Forshaw as the game does get underway. But Norwich, of course, have Shane Duffy and Ben Crescenny, who both played for Blackburn Rovers in their squad today. The game has begun, and here's Nunez on his birthday, 25 today, playing the ball to the right back Fischer, who chips it upfield for Sargent to chase. Sargent already looking to occupy the Blackburn defenders. A bouncing back pass hit from the halfway line towards the keeper Ainsley Pears, who's not under any pressure, so he's able to control. He hits it long, and there's an offside against Maktar Gay. We've talked a lot about Norwich City in the build-up to this game, David Fox, but what of Blackburn? Funny season in the Championship. They're 6th, they're in the playoff positions. They've got a new manager in charge. Valerian Ismail took charge after John Eustace left to take over Derby, so we think it's never done at Norwich. I'm sure Blackburn fans would say the same.
Absolutely. I mean, for a manager to leave a team that's 6th to join a team in the relegation battle, it must say something. There must be probably things going on behind the scenes that we're probably not aware of, but he felt there was a need to move on, and as you mentioned, Ishmael, he's got championship experience, had a very good season with Barnsley where he took them in the playoffs. A very, very direct, very physical that team that got in the playoffs. So be interesting what he does with this Blackburn team who have so far set off, setting very much behind the ball, letting Norwich sort of have plenty of touches around at the back.
The boos are not for David Fox, just to be clear, when he's talking. It's because Shane Duffy, the Norwich captain, had the ball at his feet a few times there while David Fox was talking. And he's just fired a diagonal ball towards the left-hand side, looking for Crescenny. He's beaten to it, but it's landed for Borja Sainz on the left wing. Here come Norwich City in their yellow and green. Crescenny on the left corner of the penalty area gets it back to Slimani. Curling cross from him into the penalty area. Fischer was arriving. Cleared up in the air by a Blackburn defender. Dobbin keeps the pressure on. Sainz grabs it on the edge of the penalty area, tries to work some room. It's really congested, and Blackburn in their blue and white halved shirts, the white shorts and the white socks have got it away, and they've got it away to good effect. They're breaking now on the counter-attack with Cogbo on the left-hand side, but what a run from Kellen Fischer. Lung bursting from one penalty area in an attacking sense all the way back to his right back position to break up that attack. I know it's early in the game, so he should have plenty in the legs, but my goodness, that was a terrific bit of defending from Callum Fischer. We'll bring David Fox in on that in a moment, but Blackburn trying to move through the midfield now. That move breaks down. Here's Sainz for Norwich City, and now off we go towards the other end of the pitch with Borja Sainz up towards the halfway line, goes down under the challenge there. That is given as a foul and a free kick to Norwich City. So frantic action at both ends, but Kellen Fischer involved at both ends of the pitch in a matter of seconds there.
Absolutely. I mean, consider he was probably the highest player on the pitch, trying to get on the end of a cross, and then his recovery run was brilliant. I think a little bit of a concern in terms of that transition and Blackburn looking to counter-attack. We have to be switched on to that and make sure that when we do have the ball, like we have now, that we look after it, make sure that they haven't got the ability to come and counter-attack like they showed there, that they have got pace in wider areas that could cause us trouble.
0-0, 3 minutes gone. More boos for Shane Duffy. But the game threatening to burst into life there, with both sides looking to try and get in behind their opponents. But it's settled down again now with Cordoba in possession on halfway for Norwich City. He tries to play one up through the middle. It's repelled by the Blackburn defence and the midfielder Travis. Gets it back to his goalkeeper Ainsley Pears. It's an interesting one seeing Valerian Ismail down there, the new manager of Blackburn Rovers. Usually when you get a job in the Championship, it's because the team is struggling and you've got an awful lot of work to do and you've got to turn them around quickly. But when you take over a team that's already in the top 6, what do you do? Because they're clearly onto something. Here's one of the players who played under Ismail at Barnsley, Callum Britton, the right back, getting it into the channel, and Tyree Stolen, really strong defending though from Cordoba. He just levered Dolan off the ball and got Norwich back in possession. Sainz dribbles it into a central area, finds Nunez in a bit of space. He crosses the halfway line. He's got 3 players up in front of him. One of those to the right is Dobbin. Dobbin crosses first time. It's headed away by Blackburn, the defender Hyam. Todd Cantwell gets a touch. More boos inside the ground, this time from the 900 or so Norwich City supporters. But the move breaks down for Blackburn. Norwich have won it back high up the pitch, but there's Cantwell. Socks roll down his calves to get the ball back and clip it towards the right-hand side. And it is Britton coming forward, former Barnsley man. Plays it in behind the Norwich defence. Now, Gunner come outside his penalty area and gathers the ball. McTargay thought about going after it, collided with Cordova, went down looking for a free kick, but I don't think it was ever going to be given. And Norwich have possession. 0-0. Here's Sorensen in midfield, playing his 100th Norwich City game today. Jakob Sorensen in that midfield. It's taken him pretty much 4 seasons to get there, with all the injury problems he's had and the issues where he's never been a regular starter. He's always been filling in as Jakob Sorensen, and he's filling in midfield today with Kenny McLean still out injured. 0-0. Slimani for Norwich in the centre circle. Every Blackburn player back behind the ball. They're looking compact here, proving a puzzle for Norwich to try and crack. Here is the Dane Sorensen. Dobbin with a ball back to Duffy, who slides it into the path of Nunez. Out to Fischer on the right-hand side. Dobbin's made a run into the channel and Fischer expertly plays him in. Dobbin cuts it back. Great chance for Slimani. He's put it wide. Glorious opportunity for Slimani. Timed his run perfectly into the penalty area. Dobbin cut it back in and, well, Slimani ran onto it without having to break his stride, and he's put it wide. What an opportunity.
Has to score, really. What a great build-up. Exactly, you know, we had an interview with the manager before the game talking about Dobbin and the threat that he causes in his pace. That is exactly why he wants him at the club, for those sorts of runs, threatening the back line like he did. It was a great ball from Kellen Fischer, slipped Dobbin in down the side, and it's a brilliant cutback, and the timing of the run was perfect from Ben Slimani. Great arriving on the edge of the box, and he just has to hits the target. It's a goal. It's the target. It's 1-0. But great movement, great sort of patterns that I'm sure the manager will want his team to do, and yeah, real big early chance that.
0-0, but I think the build-up play was excellent. Exactly what Johannes Torp wants Norwich to do. And one thing I will say for Slimani is that's exactly where you want your number 10, your midfielder, to be arriving into the penalty area for exactly those moments. But when you get there, you've got to do better than that. Didn't even find the target. Slimani, who has got a couple of goals this season, and his reaction straight away, head in the hands immediately. Didn't even test the goalkeeper. But encouragement for those Norwich supporters who are at the far end of the pitch from where the action was taking place there. They're behind the goal that Angus Gunn is defending in this first half as Norwich win a free kick on halfway. They've got a huge 2-tier stand away to our right-hand side, the Darwin end of this ground. Most of that stand is empty. There's 900 or so Norwich fans have made the trip. They're in there, but it's a big old stand. No home fans in there. Quite a few empty seats all around the ground. In fact, the end away to our left, behind the goal that Norwich are attacking, they don't even open the top tier by the looks of it. So even though Blackburn are in the top 6, we know that the owners of the club are not particularly popular, and it doesn't feel as if things have quite caught the imagination of the public here. But we'll see whether they can get into the playoffs as Sorensen commits a foul on Travis. Scrappy midfield play. And the Premier League champions from 1995, Blackburn, have a free kick. I mentioned that because I don't know whether you saw it on your way in, David, but they had the Premier League trophy outside the ground, and fans were paying £3 each to have their picture taken with it. You didn't get yours then? No,
not quite.
You've earned the right, don't you, to hold the Premier League trophy. Ball headed on to Tyree Stolen for Blackburn on the right. He's flagged offside. But considering they won it in 1995, it just goes to show, doesn't it? Once you've had that trophy, that title win, you've always got it, and you can keep coming back to it. But I imagine there probably aren't, over the last 30 years or so, there probably aren't many Blackburn fans who haven't had an opportunity to have their picture taken with the trophy. But they've won it, so why not flaunt it? And they certainly were outside the ground when we arrived today. Blackburn 0, Norwich 0. That feels a very long time ago now, though, doesn't it? As Blackburn try to get themselves back in the Premier League. They haven't been in the top flight since 2012, Blackburn Rovers. Here's their former player Duffy, giving it to Cordova. Norwich able to walk it up to the halfway line, really, with Blackburn sitting off. Sainz trying to find some room. He gets tackled. It's broken for Sorensen, who passes it out to the right wing. Fischer leading the charge for Norwich again, up to the corner of the penalty area. Crosses low. It's cut out well, though, by Travis. And Blackburn should clear, and they do clear. Norwich have a chance to win it again high up the pitch here. A neat football from Nunez to Sorensen up towards the edge of the penalty area. Sainz takes it, but he was coming back from an offside position, and so the flag goes up. The game's not really settled into a proper pattern yet. 8.5 minutes in, 0-0. But already we're just getting little glimpses of what Norwich are capable of. We've had a couple of moves already, one that Slimani ended up putting wide, where they do look a good side. They do, and you know, with the way Blackburn are set up when Norwich do have the ball at the back, they are letting them sort of take the time and dictate what they want to do. And just watching, you know, these first sort of 10 minutes of the game,
how different Norwich look when you've got Borja Sainz and Sargent and Núñez in the team. The last couple of games I've done, they've not been playing, and it is just a different animal, and all of a sudden you can see the quality that those players have got even in this first sort of 8 to 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's striking, isn't it? Good tackle from Crescenny on halfway, and then Sainz was dragged back. Tyree Stolen had his arm around the collar of Sainz's shirt, and that will be a free kick to Norwich City. Almost on the halfway line to the left-hand side. Both head coaches standing almost side by side in the technical area. There's a big Blackburn Rovers crest with the red rose there on the ground in the technical area that the two managers are standing either side of. And Norwich in their yellow and green, and the March sunshine look to build again from deep. Goalless at the moment on BBC Radio Norfolk. First of 2 commentaries we've got for you today, with the big National North game between Kings Lynn and South Shields coming up later on. And this might be the first of 2 games that David Fox is going to today, but we'll get him to talk about that later on, as I'm not quite sure whether he's going to make the second one. As Angus Gunn, the Norwich goalkeeper, collects a back pass and clears upfield. Sargent can't get on the end of it. It's won by Travis in midfield for Blackburn, out towards Britton on the right-hand side. Comes forward, decides to have a run at the Norwich defence here. He's made good yards up the picture. He's trying to get beyond Crescenny, who tackles back well there. Good defending, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick. Blackburn, their players were getting into the penalty box ready for a corner, but I think Crescenny did really well, not just to win the tackle, but to get it to go out of play off Britton, didn't he? Good defending. Yeah,
I thought it was a goal kick, the way it sort of ricocheted around, but he's done well there, because Britton's, he wants to give him a race, and fair play to Crescenny. He's thought, go on then, I can match you, and I can stop the cross coming in the box, and he defended that situation very well.
There was a moment where it looked as if he had beaten him, and Crescenny was done, but he stuck to his task. The Norwich left back, who's in the team today for the first time in a while. Hasn't started a game since the defeat against Leeds a couple of months ago now. It's 12th league start of the season, with Lucien Mahobo injured. Duffy lifts one over the top here. It's a great pass, and here's Crescenny on the left-hand side now, crossing into the penalty area. It's curling away from goal and away from Sargent, and out for a throw-in. But Norwich really are getting themselves in some great attacking areas here. They haven't taken advantage of any of the opportunities yet. Still 0-0.
No, I was lucky there, Crescenny. He needs to just feed the ball in around the back four, but again, another player that's threatening that back line of Blackburn. Can we run in behind? They're letting the centre-backs have time on the ball, and Shane Duffy has got a good range of passing, and he's hit a couple of diagonals out this to the left-hand side already, and it's certainly a way they can get in.
It's Slimani, good skills, juggling on the edge of the Blackburn penalty area. In the end, there's no way through, but he's worked hard to win it back. Slimani, good determination. Tries to bulldoze through another couple of challenges, but Blackburn have ended up winning it back on the edge of their own penalty area. Here's Todd Cantwell in the right-back position. Norwich have got Blackburn defending there, and Sainz tries to trip him, and Blackburn get the free kick. I don't know whether you saw, it's 0-0, David Fox. I don't know whether you saw when Norwich beat Stoke last week. You saw the incredible miss from Oscar Schwartau late in the game when he missed an open goal. That was from a low Crescenny cross. So he came on as a sub in that game. He does get in some good positions.
He does. His starting position's really high. So, the 2 centre-backs do have the ball, and the centre-mids will drop quite deep to try and get on it, and it allows the full-backs to play very high and wide, and he has got the athleticism and the profile to be able to run in behind and make long runs, and that's what he's done.
FA Cup games are underway for today as well. 0-0 in the local derby between Crystal Palace and Millwall, but Millwall have had their goalkeeper sent off in the early part of that game, so Alex Neil's team a bit of a backs-to-the-wall job there, possibly, against Premier League opposition. Here it's the Championship rather than the FA Cup. 0-0 all the same between Blackburn and Norwich City. Poor play from the Blackburn Rovers left-back, Ribeiro, the Portuguese, although he has rectified that, having given the ball away to Norwich City. He immediately wins it back, and Blackburn Rovers back in possession deep inside their own half. But Leeds 1-0 up against West Brom. That one's in the Championship. And Coventry, who are chasing the playoff places, are 1-0 up away at Oxford. And Norwich's next league game is against Oxford. That's on Friday night at Carrow Road. We've got Friday night football for you. Norwich don't have another Saturday 3 o'clock game, I think, until the end of this month. Núñez wins the ball back on halfway. Sorensen collects. He's immediately under pressure from Cantwell. Sorensen is one of the few Norwich City players still at the club that Cantwell will have played with. And here's Cordoba, the Norwich defender. Simple pass to Shane Duffy, City skipper in the continued absence of Kenny McLean, onto Núñez. Núñez from the halfway line floats the ball across towards this near side, the Norwich left. Controlled nicely first time by Crescenny, and play back into his own half. And Blackburn, despite being the home team, they don't mind getting players back behind the ball quickly and allowing Norwich to have it up to the halfway line. And then when Norwich do get into Blackburn territory, they find they've got 11 players to try and find a way through. Quick passing might be the way to do it. That's what they're trying to do here. And Cordoba will play it along to Crescenny. on the left-hand side, who's standing right in front of his head coach, Johannes Torup, at the moment. So any instructions are going to be right in the ear of Griseni during this first half. Duffy has his foot on the ball in the centre circle, gives it to Cordoba. Cordoba now out to Sainz, who's hugging the touchline on the left-hand side, halfway inside the Blackburn half. Sainz looking to be positive. Sargent with a neat touch, but he couldn't quite get it to Slimani. And Blackburn's game plan as Sargent charges the ball down and wins a throw-in for Norwich. High up the pitch here on the left-hand side. He's taken it quickly to Sainz, who gets tackled by Forshaw, and Norwich get another throw. Norwich having easy possession up until halfway, but the knock-on effect of that is that when they do get deep into Blackburn half, there's no room at all, is there? That
looks to be what the game is going to sort of be. Norwich will have a lot of the ball, they'll get into around the final third, and it's can they break them down, can they do them quick passes that they've tried to do so far, and Blackburn will look to, can they win the ball and transition quickly like they've just done now.
Yeah, Slimani though gets a foot on it, intercepts and makes sure that Norwich can't be countered on.
Good interception.
It really was. Griseni on the left-hand side now for Norwich City. Chased down by Tyrese Dolan. Back it goes to the halfway line and Cordoba. And again, the game settles into a familiar pattern, really, with the Norwich centre-backs allowed the ball on halfway and all the Blackburn team in front of them. Although Cargbo now goes to close down Nunez. Nunez has got the skills to hold him off, but Norwich having to go backwards here. Now Blackburn do press, and they do win the ball on halfway, and this is where Norwich could be caught out. Dolan coming forward. Plays it towards the right-hand side. He's fouled as he does so, and Blackburn get a free kick halfway inside the Norwich half, and that is the Blackburn game plan. That's what Valérien Ismaël wants the team to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see they're going to allow the centre-backs time on the ball, and then at certain points they will go and press, and it was Travis there who is good at that. He can get after the ball in the middle of the park, and he's managed to win the ball over. They've got to be so secure in possession, Norwich, when they're playing this way, because Blackburn are setting traps, they're waiting to pounce, and when they do, a couple of times now they've shown that that's what they want to do. They want to counter-attack down the sides with some pace and hit Norwich on the counter when they've got players forward.
If you looked at one of those maps that shows players' average positions, you'd probably think the game has been played at Carrow Road, wouldn't you? Because Blackburn have played like the away team, really. They've sat deep and allowed Norwich to have it.
They have, and it don't really get the fans engaged, you know what I mean? The atmosphere is a bit quiet, they've not really got after the ball straight away there. When Travis did win it, they got the crowd going, and yeah, they've not quite done that yet.
But now they have a free kick at 30 yards from goal, the right of centre. Cantwell standing over it, left foot of Ribeiro as well. It will be Ribeiro who will curl it towards the far post, towards a crowd of players. It goes beyond everybody and behind for a goal kick, and Norwich see off the first set-piece test. He's a Portuguese left-back, Yuri Ribeiro, signed last month. He did have 2 years at Nottingham Forest earlier on in his career. Now trying his luck in England again. Blackburn 0, Norwich City 0. And Norwich being allowed to dominate the possession at the moment. And this is why sometimes possession stats in a game can be a little bit misleading, as Dobbin tries to wriggle free and find some room and find Fischer on the right-hand side. And what I mean by that, David Fox, is that you look at a game, you look at the possession stats, and it looks like a team's dominated, but sometimes it can be because the opposition has been quite happy to let them have it. As the ball goes out to the right, Fischer heads it infield, cleared by Hyam at the back there for Blackburn. Tussle now in the midfield for Nunez to get involved with, but Blackburn here have won it. And when the ball does descend into a bit of a midfield battle, that's where Blackburn look like they fancy winning it, and the ball has gone all the way back to their goalkeeper Ainsley Pears, who hasn't been tested yet but should have been when Slimani put that opportunity wide. Slimani though chases the ball willingly out to the left hand side here, can't keep the move going. Adam Forshaw's beaten him to it, he plays it into the Norwich half. Cordoba returns it with interest. Carter, the defender, has been out of action recently for Blackburn, making his return today. He gets to it, there's a collision between Duffy and Matt Targay, and Norwich have possession with Fischer, who's dropped in between the two Norwich centre-backs. 0-0, Sainz on halfway, can't make the ball stick, goes down a little too easily there. Carter takes the ball off him, it's never going to be a foul. And now here come Blackburn with Ribeiro. He's got Cargbo outside him on the left-hand side, running at Callan Fischer, cutting in here Cargbo, he's on the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Oh, ferocious slow shot, goes wide, doesn't beat Gunnady's near post, but I think we can already see what sort of a game this is going to be, can't we, 18 minutes in?
It was, and it was Borja Sainz, who's normally really reliable in those pockets and receiving the ball in tight areas. He's turned into the centre-back Carter, and they've countered again. They've got to be so precise, Norwich, with the way they're playing.
And Dobbin, not at all precise there, hit an awful ball back towards his own penalty area that Duffy's able to sweep up, but those are the sort of errors that Blackburn are waiting for and are waiting to capitalise on. It's interesting, isn't it? We said it earlier on, they're in the top 6, and so new managers come in, and you don't probably have to change that much, do you?
You don't, and I'm sure there'll be a few tweaks, but what he's done, you can certainly see the game plan straight away. Is right, we're going to let the two centre halves have it, but Norwich like to flood the middle of the pitch. You've seen that in all the games.
Now Duffy puts one over the top, and Sargent chases onto it, timed his run well, but Duffy just got a little bit too much on the ball forward. It's not an easy pass from there, and it spans through to Ainsley Pears, the goalkeeper.
It wasn't, but yeah, like I was saying, Norwich do like to try and dominate the middle of the pitch. You can see they've not got the ball now, Norwich. They've got three strikers, very central, really narrow, and they like to dominate and get overloads in the middle of the pitch, and Blackburn obviously know that, and they're waiting for those passes into the middle of the pitch where they can try and squeeze them and win the ball back.
And Norwich have got the ball here with Nunez. He's gone over to the right wing to try and find some room here. Chilean international. Two Blackburn players for company. Managed to beat one of them and then win a throw-in off the second one. That FA Cup game I was talking about earlier on. 1-0 to Crystal Palace against Millwall. An own goal from Japhet Tanganga for the 10 men of Millwall now behind in that game. Here's Slimani battling. Somehow managing to work the ball forward. Hyam, the defender, should deal with it. Awkward, bouncing up on the edge of the penalty area, heads it clear. Adam Forshaw made 9 appearances for Norwich at the start of last season. He finds Britton, who comes forward on the right hand side. Looks a good outlet already for Blackburn in this game. He's got Dolan outside him. He crosses from the right hand side. It takes a deflection, and that takes it into the hands of Angus Gunn, who throws it out. And here come Norwich now, working the ball towards the halfway line with Kruseni. His turn to try and get forward and fill that gap left with Britton having ventured forward a moment ago. He's got away here from Forshaw. The ball stayed in play. He's done really well, Kruseni. Deep inside the Blackburn half, tries a cross. Forshaw recovers, makes a good block tackle, and the ball goes out of play, and a throw-in has been given rather than a corner.
He's done well in the end, Forshaw, to get back. But yeah, brilliant. Angus Gunn claimed the cross, and within sort of 10 seconds we've got an opportunity to put the ball in the box. Very, very good play from Kruseni again, who has, like I mentioned earlier, he does have that athletic ability to get up and down, and we've seen him stop crosses at one end and try and put a couple of crosses in at the other. So good start for him just coming into the team.
0-0, Norwich with a throw-in on the left-hand side, level with the Blackburn penalty area, taken by Kruseni, thrown down to the feet of Sainz, who plays it in field. Sorensen gives it to Nunez, halfway inside the Blackburn half now, plays it forward early. Sainz waves a leg at it, but didn't get a touch, and Blackburn should clear here, and they do. And here's Todd Cantwell, halfway inside his own half, spotting an opportunity to try and get Kagbo away on the left-hand side, goes shoulder to shoulder with Fischer, and Kagbo's gone down on the corner of the penalty area here. Now he was running away from goal, so it'll be a yellow card rather than anything more sinister than that. But Kagbo really was threatening to show Kellen Fischer a clean pair of heels there, wasn't he? And as soon as he went down, I think the card was always going to come out. Free kick to Blackburn in a dangerous position.
It's been a good tussle so far between them two, and what he has started to do now, Kagbo, he has started to cheat a little bit, and Kellen Fischer's pushing forward and he's taking up little positions. He's sort of not tracking him all the way, and when there is those turnovers, he's quick to get on the other side of Fischer, and he's had to make a couple of long distance runs already, Kellen Fischer, and he looks like a player, to be fair, Kagbo, who's probably not the best one to be up against when you're on a yellow card, so he's got to be really careful now.
Fischer booked. I'm glad you're sitting down, David Fox. I can tell you that Burnley have conceded a goal, which doesn't happen very often. I'll give you the details on that in a moment, but we must watch this Blackburn free kick. On the left-hand side, corner of the penalty area, Cantwell plays it in, trying to catch Gunn out, and it drifts wide of the post, and it'll be a goal kick. Yes, it's Preston 1, Burnley 0. Robbie Brady, the former Canary, the goal scorer. It's one of those days where you just have to check which competition games are being played in, because we've got FA Cup and Championship matches on the same day. So Preston 1, Burnley 0. That's an FA Cup tie today, that Burnley are a goal down in. Cantwell just fancied catching out his old mate Angus Gunn there, didn't he? You could see with that free kick, but didn't get it right. So 0-0. Kellen Fischer now on a yellow card. Blackburn Rovers threatening at times on the counter-attack. Norwich plenty of the ball. 2 or 3 times they've got into some dangerous areas, but so far just lacking that final ball, and in Slimani's case lacking the finishing touch, because they did open up Blackburn beautifully early on in this game and Slimani couldn't score. Now Sainz plays one forward, Sargent holds it up, battles for it, but loses that battle, and here's Forshaw now through the midfield for Blackburn. Kruseni spots the danger, beats Cantwell to it and cuts it out. Bit of a midfield scrap now breaks out, and ends up on this right hand side with Forshaw for Blackburn. Forward to Cantwell, back heel from Cantwell, and he's back heeled it straight out of play for a throw into Norwich in their left back position. I think the Norwich fans enjoyed that, didn't they, David Fox? Todd Cantwell back heeling the ball out for a throw in. Here's Sorensen, taking a risk there, playing the ball through the middle from the edge of his own area, and Nunez has lost it, and here comes Todd Cantwell up towards the edge of the penalty area, tackled by Sorensen, his old teammate. And now Blackburn maybe caught with players up the field here. Nunez hits a long raking pass forward, but Sargent can't get on the end of it. Nunez heads it forward now, and it's collected by Dobbin. Good control from Dobbin, right hand side, but he misplaces the pass. It's come back to him now off a defender. Scrappy defending from Blackburn, giving Norwich an opportunity. Can Nunez use it? No, he tried to play it towards the edge of the box, spotted by Britton, and he's cut it out before Slimani could swoop. And now Blackburn break, and it's Kagbo on this left hand side, who's been a bit of a problem for Norwich already in this game. Crosses it in, Duffy cuts it out initially, and they'll settle for a corner here, or Blackburn. But you can see already, you pointed this out, David, the problem Norwich have got now, when Blackburn do hit those diagonal passes out to Augustus Kogbo on the left-hand side, Fischer's got a problem because he's on a yellow card.
He has, he's done it again there, Kogbo. I said earlier, he is cheating, he's not going all the way with Kellen Fischer. Kellen Fischer's bombing forward as I'm sure the manager would want, but he's not really going with him. And yeah, it's great for Norwich if we can get the ball out there, but he's cheating, Kogbo, and he's a couple of times now he's made some really difficult runs to mark him behind.
25 minutes gone in this game, and Blackburn have taken the corner through Cantwell to Ribeiro, left corner of the penalty area, tries to cross it, it deflects off Dobbin and goes behind for another Blackburn corner. Still 0-0. I think already, because of what you just said, it might be a surprise if Fischer finishes this game, not necessarily because he's going to get sent off, but you've got Jack Stacey on the bench, and it already feels like at some point Johannes Hoftorp might have to, not yet, but might have to later on think about not having Kogbo up against the player on a yellow card. Cantwell's corner, played in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up in the air, and Gunn should come and get that, and does. But that's the one, oh, and hang on, as Gunn's been caught in the face there quite clearly by Dominic Hyam as he was running back out of the penalty area. Gunn had the ball in his hand, was looking for a quick release, and Hyam did catch Gunn in the face there pretty clearly, didn't he? Now the assistant referee will have seen that. What did you make of it? There was definite contact, wasn't there, in the face of Gunn? We've got a replay high up on the screens above our heads. It's difficult to see, but he certainly, he knew what he was doing there, Dominic Hyam. Look, he wants to race back. He does swing an arm at Gunn, doesn't he? Yeah. I think that is. You can see the referee's got his finger to his earpiece at the moment, so there's no VAR, so it can only be the fourth official or the...
Yeah, the linesman's got a good position. You'd like to think he might see something.
He knew what he was doing there, Hyam.
I think at the time it just looked like a little innocent coming together, and where you block off the goalie from doing anything, but when you actually do watch it back, his arm's in a pretty strange position and his elbow's up, and just a warning, I think.
Just a talking to. I think he's pretty fortunate there. I'm not saying it's a definite red, but I think if the assistant referee got the view that we just did from the replay, probably a yellow card offence. It was a little bit naughty that from Dominic Hyam, who was running back out of the penalty area, didn't want the goalkeeper to release the ball quickly, and he certainly put an arm across the face of Angus Gunn, who's fine, and the game's back underway. 0-0. Slimani sweeps it out towards the right hand side. Fischer can try and get on the front foot now in the March sunshine at Ewood Park. Oh, quick feet from Dobbin in a central position, plays it back towards Slimani, now up towards Sainz. Clever back heel from Sainz. Sargent onto it, just couldn't quite control it the first time of asking, but he's kept the move alive with a crunching tackle on Cantwell. It's no foul. Griseni gives it to Sainz on the edge of the penalty area. His shot is charged down, it's broken for Callum Fisher, and he's put it wide. Another glorious chance for Norwich City, but Kellen Fischer, who's never scored for the Canaries, missed a good one last week against Stoke when it was 0-0, and again, he's, with the best will in the world, he's perhaps not the player you want in that position.
He's unlucky. He's done a great first touch to open the goal up on his left foot, and he's put it wide, but that's the game so far. It's just, we might as well just watch them two out there, because one's bombing forward and the other's not really going with him, and then the other one's Carbo's trying to run forward. It's just, that seems to be the game now, and it's up to Kellen Fischer to make sure he keeps getting on the right side of him. But yeah, there's a big chance and a big opportunity there for him. He'd like to hit the top. The two big chances we've had so far, we've not even made the keeper work.
I think that's the disappointing thing, isn't it? You might get a spectacular save. Gunn's kick out is actually collected here eventually by Cantwell. He's beaten to it by Nunez, but Blackburn have got it back now. And here they come on the left-hand side. They might get Kogbo in here. Is he going to catch up with the ball? No, too much on it. It's gone behind for a goal kick. You're quite right. We're on the wrong side of the pitch here. We need to try and move over to that stand on the far side that looks like the old South Stand at Carrow Road before they built what's there now with the red and blue plastic seats and the pillars all the way along it, because all the action's on that side of the pitch, isn't it?
It is, like I say. Well, one's trying to bomb forward and the other's sort of half cheating because he doesn't want to go all the way with him, and then the sort of the best moments.
Nice turn there from Dobbin, and he's tripped by the midfielder Travis, who is fortunate if he's not going to be shown a yellow card for that, because again, I'll say he knew what he was doing. He knew that Dobbin had got away from him, tripped him.
You can can see the manager there speaking to the fourth official, because he was away. It was a great turn in the middle of the pitch, ball inside into him, his lovely turn, and he's away. If he's not got caught there, I thought that was a nailed-on yellow card.
Yeah, Cordoba plays one over the top. I think he's got too much on that. Easy catching practice for Ainsley Pears in the Blackburn goal. 0-0. A couple of flashpoints there, though. We saw Angus Gunn seeming to get an arm in the face, whether it was an elbow or not. I'd have to see it again, but Iron was fortunate not to get at least a yellow card for that. I think Travis, I should say, was fortunate there as well not to get at least a yellow card. This referee today, Lee Doughty, has only produced one red card this season, so he's not one that tends to flash the cards, but that red card was a Norwich player. He sent off Jose Cordoba at Sunderland just before Christmas. No, that wasn't one we had too many complaints about. It was a second bookable offence that was fairly straightforward. Although I think we've seen a couple of bookable offences that are straightforward in this game, and they haven't happened. And now Fischer's been robbed there by Cargbo, and now Campbell's gone out to cause some problems for Norwich on the left-hand side. For Blackburn, does well, plays in field eventually here to Forshaw halfway inside the Norwich half. His pass towards the right-hand side is intercepted by Crescenny. Crescenny, though, cleared it away, and it's been picked up again by Blackburn. See Johannes Torup just urging calm there. I think he was saying that Crescenny needs to just put his foot on the ball sometimes. You don't always need to just panicky clear the ball away, as Blackburn switch it towards the left-hand side now. Still 0-0. Blackburn making more of the running now, though, than they were in the early part of this game. Norwich threatened to open them up regularly early on in the game, but it hasn't followed. Britton now plays the ball to Cantwell in a good position here, in space, right-hand side, level with the Norwich penalty area. Todd Cantwell cuts it back, Dolan shot, puts it wide, never really got hold of it, and now there are some accusing looks from the Norwich defence in the direction of the assistant referee here, because the flag stayed down, but I think Campbell did. It was a clever run, wasn't it? Yeah,
it looked offside. You know, the fact he's got in there with so much space down the side. You know, they did hold that high line, and fair play to Campbell. He has picked out a pass, but it's a tough finish from there. They didn't have a lot of bodies in the box there, Blackburn, and it's gone back to Dolan, who, from a tight angle, a long way out. It was a difficult chance for him.
He certainly knows where the back of the net is against Norwich. Dolan, he scored at Carrow Road last season and the season before for Blackburn. Brilliant flick from Sights, a back heel that's released Dobbin through the middle, but he takes a heavy touch and he gets tackled by Britton. And again, just as it started to look promising for Norwich City, so the move has come to a halt, and Dobbin has actually stayed down after that challenge. Blackburn have sportingly put the ball out of play. Now, we saw Lewis Dobbin go off at half-time in the game against Stoke last Saturday after he'd scored, and after the game, Johannes Torup said it's not a big concern, we were just taking no chances with him, and he's now crumpled here in some pain, laying on his back on the edge of the penalty area. A poor touch in that move, just as he threatened to really get at Blackburn, and he hasn't got up since.
Yeah, it looked a muscle one, I'm not sure exactly, but I think the fact that as he did have that heavy touch, he sort of gave up on it a little bit too easy, and you thought that looked a bit strange, but straight away he's pulled up pretty quickly, and he looks in quite a bit of discomfort, to be fair. It looked muscle related. The way he sort of gave up on the sort of, he was in a great position on the driving at the heart of the Blackburn defence, and I just thought he was going to slip Sargent in, but yeah, he looks in a bit of discomfort, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a good point, because the defender coming in on him, and you're right, it was very easy, or so alarmingly easy for Britain to take the ball away, and having seen it again, I think you're right. I think it's almost as if whatever it was that had strained, and you can see he's in a lot of pain, Dobbin. He's just sort of thumping his forehead against his knees raised as he's laying on the ground. He just sat up and was just almost headbutting his knee, because it's the other leg that's causing him an issue. And at the moment, without being a medical expert, you'd be surprised if he carried on, wouldn't you, looking at what's going on down there at the moment?
Yeah, you would. I think there is a little bit of movement. There's a bit of movement down there with the subs. I'm not sure who, but there's a lot of staff knocking about, so I'm sure there'll be something going on. Yeah, it's just the way he pulled up, the pain he was in straight away. I don't think it doesn't look like he'll carry on.
Blackburn 0, Norwich 0. The Norwich players, who are fit and able, have come across to the side of the pitch to get an impromptu team talk from Johannes Torup, while Dobbin is helped to his feet. FA Cup day today, David. I hear this might be the first of 2 games you're going to go to today. Do you think you can get to watch Man City against your old team Plymouth today?
I hope so. Yes. I think I've got a text message at time about 11:30 saying I've got a ticket, so I hope to get there on time. It'll be all right. There'll be no fans at City anyway, so the empty ad will be fine. I'll be able to get in, not a problem.
Well, we're not used to this, us Norfolk people, grounds being so close together, so we'll finish here at 3 o'clock. And what time's kick-off at Man City?
5.
You'll be all right, won't you?
Yeah, should be.
You'll get there, I think.
Should
right. Unfortunately, it looks like our concerns about Lewis Dobbin are going to be realised. He's breathing heavily, sort of gulping for air as he comes off the pitch here. Being helped up by 2 Norwich medical staff, and you can probably hear over the public address system that Lewis Dobbin is playing no further part in the game. Ante Sienat, who replaced him at half-time last Saturday, is going to come on here with 11 minutes to go of the first half. What a blow. There we were talking before the game about how encouraging Dobbin's recent form has been. He started 9 of the last 10 games, he's got a couple of goals for Norwich, but when you get injuries like that in March, that can almost be the season over.
Yeah,
can't it?
It's a real blow because, you know, we spoke about why he's in the team and why he's been brought to the club for the chance he created for Ben Samani. That's exactly what it's about. Little sharp, short bursts in behind defenders and created a great chance, and then that little bit of link up where he has got injured, lovely little touch inside by Sainz, and the 3 strikers, the 3 attacking players linking up, and real good signs, and a shame, real shame.
4 short for Blackburn. Game's back underway, 0-0 on BBC Radio Norfolk. Blackburn with Britton curling the ball in early. Ball hangs up in the air for a long time. Controlled by Cogbo on the left corner of the penalty area. Barrow's gone on the overlap and will cross for Blackburn towards the far post. Gay's got there with the header over the top. Corner given. Gunn saying he didn't get a touch, but he's going to be credited with the save there. He tipped it over the bar. Looked like he did, and Blackburn have a corner.
Could even be Corner, but great defending from Corner, because he's a real handful there, the striker Gay. When the ball's hung up from the byline like that, he looks such a physical presence, but fair play to Corner because he's held his ground, he's been strong, and maybe he's got a little touch on it, I don't know, but what he has done is he made it really difficult for the striker to get a free header.
6'5", Matsar Gay, 7 goals this season, but most of them have been since Christmas. Cantwell's corner from the right hand side for Blackburn. Should have been headed away by Duffy, headed up in the air really. Sienats tries to clear it, he hasn't got much distance on it either. Norwich can't get this away. Gay from the right hand side, good block from Fischer to prevent the cross from coming in, and Blackburn will settle for the throw in. Level with the Norwich penalty area, Forshaw takes it to Makhtar Gay. Right edge of the penalty area from the byline, manages to cut it back, but there's Cordoba again to stop it. Now he needs to clear it, and he does so for Norwich City. A little bit more distance on the clearance this time, but Norwich had everybody back, so Blackburn will gather it again on halfway with Hayden Carter. And now they'll feed it to Dolan on this right-hand side. Here's Todd Cantwell. Gets it back to Britton. And now all the way back to Hyam. And across to Hayden Carter here, who's playing for the first time today since October. He's been out with a knee problem. Back in the heart of that Blackburn defence today. Blackburn taking a risk there, playing it across their back line with Sienats hovering. And then his presence just makes the pass go astray, and Blackburn have given Norwich a throw in here. Still 0-0. Sorensen poor control. Really the quality of this game over the last few minutes, almost as if the players all switched off with that Dobbin injury and can't quite turn the tap on again. 0-0. A couple more goals in the FA Cup. Palace now lead Millwall 2-0, and it's Preston 2, Burnley 0. It's not a position that Burnley have been in all that often this season, if at all. 2-0 down. Played out by the goalkeeper Pez for Blackburn. Cantwell gets the better of Sorensen. Good play from the Deeren boy on halfway, and he's got his Blackburn team going here with Britton now on the right hand side. Crosses early into the penalty area. Duffy gets ahead to it, does enough to take it away from both Makhtar Gay and Cogbo. Cogbo though has chased it out to the left wing to keep it in play. He believes there's still an opportunity here. Takes on Crescenti, beats him, crosses, Gunn cuts it out at the near post. The 2 Norwich fullbacks had swapped sides there. I wonder if that's a temporary measure. We'll see as Sienats is caught in possession. Norwich just trying to hurry the ball forward there. They're in no position to do so, and they've lost it. And here come Blackburn again. Ball played eventually towards Britton on this right-hand side by the corner flag. Can he deliver the cross? He can. Curling towards the far post. Fischer's up and does enough to put Makhtar Gay off and behind for a goal kick. Now, the Norwich fullbacks are back in their normal positions now, but this is Blackburn's best spell, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The game seems to be played a little bit higher up now, and it comes from, you know, the possession that Blackburn had. It's come from our throwing where we've given the ball away, real sloppy play, and as I mentioned, the way Blackburn are allowing us to have the ball and ready to pounce on certain things. We've got to make sure in those situations we're really clean with the ball and don't give them an opportunity to win the ball back.
0-0. Norwich not living up to the early promise we saw in this game, but what about now as Duffy finds Sainz? Another little back heel from Sainz that's read and cut out by Carter. And Blackburn have got it back. Cantwell chasing out towards the left-hand side. He's absolutely shot down there by Nunez. And Nunez on his birthday, maybe getting a card of a different kind here. Actually, he's pretty lucky not to get one.
I think when you don't book Travis for the one on Dobbin earlier, you can't book that one.
That's a really good point, actually. There was a clear, well, we thought clear yellow card challenge earlier on from Lewis Travis, the Blackburn skipper. Nunez has just done something similar to Campbell, and if one wasn't a yellow card, then neither should the other one be. So at least this referee's being consistent. He could also have booked Hyam as well for that arm into the face of Angus Gunn, and he kept the card in the pocket for that one too. Callum Fisher, the only man who has been booked so far, as Blackburn tried to test him again here. They've got the ball in behind Fischer. Kagbo's going to keep this in play by the left-hand side. He does, by the byline. Fischer now gets to him. Kagbo dances past him in the penalty area, and then the challenge comes in from Duffy, and behind it goes for a corner. It's pretty obvious at the moment what Norwich's biggest problem is.
He is a threat, to be fair to him. He's very difficult 1v1 situations. He's got in behind Callum Fisher, and lovely little sort of shift of the hips, and difficult for Fischer once he's in the box. You can't get too close and tight to him, but it's very well defended at the front post by Duffy.
0-0. Blackburn, from that latest foray forward from Kagbo, have won a corner which Campbell plays in from the left-hand side, headed towards the edge of the box by a Norwich defender. It's still bouncing there. Cordoba takes control of the situation, and his header forward might spark a counter-attack, although Sainz just couldn't take it past Travis, who's done well to just bring it out to the left-hand side and get Blackburn back in possession. Ribeiro, the left-back, has stayed forward. Good tackle comes in on him. Blackburn throw in. We've got 5 minutes to go to half-time. 0-0 on BBC Radio Norfolk. Two sides with playoff ambitions. Blackburn in the top 6 at the start of the day. Norwich with a 4-point deficit to make up, so they certainly can't afford to lose this game, Norwich. At the moment, they're not. They'd love to win it, and they really haven't done enough. Look, someone like Josh Sargent hasn't had an opportunity yet. Now a foul's been given against Nunez. And this time, I wonder whether he is going to go in the book. Nunez has brought a Blackburn player down over on the far side. He's getting frustrated. Referee's called him over. But there's another free kick to Blackburn. Norwich have got to keep their discipline here, haven't they? We're seeing a few too many free kicks at the moment for Blackburn. It's a long talking to. I don't think there was a card there either, was there, for Nunez?
Well, you could get away with all sorts today.
Again, it looked like a clear yellow card. Nunez goes in, and it's...
I think coming so soon after his last tackle, you thought nailed on he was going to book him, but referee's gone prison rules today. I think you can get away with what you want.
Well, you just can't get booked on your birthday.
No, that's what it is.
That's a little known rule.
What it is. You must know
in football.
Yeah, the ref knows.
He's celebrating his 25th birthday today, Marcelino Nunez, and that referee said, "Come on, ref, my birthday," and he's let him off twice. Sailing on thin ice. Norwich there conceding a free kick. Blackburn play it in, poor delivery from the left-hand side, headed away, but because Norwich had brought everybody back, Blackburn are able to get it without too much difficulty. And Britton now gives it to Forshaw, up towards Dolan. Nunez wins the ball cleanly this time, and Norwich have got it back inside their own half. It's fallen for Sorensen. Reverse pass to Sainz. He tees up Nunez, who's tackled this time fairly by Travis. Norwich have it back, though, in the midfield. And Fischer will give it to Cordoba. Haven't seen Norwich go forward for a while. Last time they did, Dobbin ended up pulling up and having to go off with what looks like a bit of a nasty injury. Duffy through the middle, along the ground, looking for Sargent, who was fouled back there. He was pulled back. He'd knocked the ball neatly past Hyam and was going to race onto it, and Hyam just dragged him back. And again, in other games I've seen yellow cards given for that as well, but the bar's been set high in this game.
It has. It was a good pass in from Duffy. I like playing into Sargent like that, because we've had lots of balls this first half into, little pockets, Sainz, Lamar, but they're always under pressure. Can we miss that out a little bit and go into our striker, who is very good with his back to goal? I think that's a pass that needs to be done a little bit more and bypass the sort of hustle and bustle in the middle of the pitch. And he's held it up well and won his side a free kick.
So it's almost right in the centre of the Blackburn half, this. They've brought everybody back. Nunez involved in a bit of a conflab here with a couple of teammates as to which direction to go with this. Duffy's gone up. Cordoba's hanging around on the edge of the box too. Where's Nunez going to go? Tries to play it towards the left, and Duffy headed away by Gay, but it's fallen for Slimani, who puts a high looping one back towards the penalty area. Cordoba helps it on. Sainz flicking it up, twisting and turning, but can't get the shot in. It's been cleared. Cordoba heads it back into the box. Sargent chests it out towards Fischer. Heavy touch from Fischer, loses it, but Nunez has won it straight back. Norwich with Cordoba now. He's got it 25 yards from goal. Jose Cordoba, tried to reverse pass the ball into the penalty area and just got too much on it. Sainz was nearly on the end of it. He's stumping his palms into his thighs there, because he knows that was almost the perfect pass from Cordoba. I think Sainz didn't quite read it, did he?
No, I don't think anyone did. I think, when he was striding forward like that, I think we all thought there was going to be a a strike at goal, and lovely little bit of disguise, really, to be fair to him. But yeah, it wasn't quite on the same wavelength, and unfortunately just couldn't quite connect in that final third.
Well, Cordoba's only ever scored 1 goal in his career, so it would have been a huge shock if he'd thumped that one into the net from there. But to give him his dues, the goal he did get for Norwich City was against Burnley. He's one of only 9 players to have scored in the league against Burnley this season. But that was a header from a corner rather than a thunderbolt from distance. 0-0. It's a bit of a scrap this now, between two sides who would like to be in the playoffs at the end of the season, but you'd probably say neither side's really done enough to say they deserve the lead at the moment, have they?
No, they haven't. I think they've certainly had the best, created the clearest chances. I think, you know, Blackburn have been a threat, and they've had moments where they've caused us problems, but you know, the chances we've had have been real clear chances where you'd like to think, you know, Kellen Fischer and Ben Slimani, those real opportunities where they've created real moments where you'd like to think you need to take those.
Yeah, particularly the Slimani one early on in the game. Dolan on the right hand side, dispossessed well there by a battling Kraseni against the team he was on loan at last season. Sorensen plays it up towards halfway. Sienats levers the defender out of the way. He chases through the middle here, gives it to Sainz on the left hand side. Sainz just doubles back, knocks the ball through the legs of Dolan and tries to find Slimani, but Cantwell comes back, working hard for his team there, and takes the ball back. But then there's a misplaced pass and Norwich have got it back again. 3 minutes of time added on at the end of this half. Can Norwich strike? That's a poor pass from Nunez. Had Fischer racing forward outside him, didn't give it to him, and when Fischer goes forward, we know what happens. Blackburn get in possession and they try and get Cugbo in behind him, but it's a real poor giveaway there by Blackburn. Kraseni on the left hand side for Norwich, encouraged. 1-2 between Sargent and Sainz. Sargent shoots from distance, it takes a big deflection, loops up in the air, and the goalkeeper takes a comfortable catch. Still 0-0. Norwich, I'd say the first 10-15 minutes of the game looked like they had the ability to really open Blackburn up, but it hasn't followed quite like that, has it?
It hasn't, and you've got to give a little bit of credit to Blackburn. I think the game plan has worked, and you can see what they are trying to do in terms of nullifying that threat in the middle of the pitch and going tight with Borja Sainz when he drifts inside, and they're looking to counter-attack, and they've probably had the player that's caused the most problems, Cugbo. He's been a real threat all first half, and I think you've got to give a little bit of credit to Blackburn and the way they've set up. They've been pretty disciplined out of possession, and they have made it difficult for Norwich.
One of those strange stats of the season. Norwich at home so far this season, 17 championship games, 41 goals. Away from home before today, 17 championship games, 14 goals scored. It's such a... And I know it is more difficult to play away from home. You'd expect a little bit of a difference, but maybe not that much, as Sainz now tries to find Fischer, who's gone forward on the right-hand side. Headed away well by Ribeiro. They've got to play for a throw-in. Norwich have it high up the field, right-hand side, up with the Blackburn penalty area. They've taken the throw-in quickly. Still got just over a minute of those 3 minutes of stoppage time that was signalled by the fourth official. 0-0. Norwich strike before half-time. Slimani and Sorensen linking up. Sorensen pushed to the floor by Cantwell. Free kick. Equalizer for West Brom at Leeds. 1-1. That is a championship game today. Leeds top of the table. West Brom in the playoff positions at the start of the day. Norwich trying to catch up with them. And Millwall have got one back against Palace in the FA Cup. Palace 2, Millwall 1 as they head towards half-time. We're heading towards half-time here. It's probably just about time for this free kick and not much else. 0-0 on BBC Radio Norfolk between Blackburn Rovers and Norwich City. Another commentary to come later on with the Linnets playing South Shields in National North. We've got that one for you. Nunez hits a high ball into the penalty area from the free kick. Duffy chasing it, but it was really good defending from Ribeiro. Just didn't let him get goal side. Goes behind for a goal kick, and that signals quite a few fans around us to start heading down the exits and starting the queues in the kiosks at half-time. And what do you make of that difference in goals at home compared to goals away? I know it is more difficult to play away from home. David, you've done it, I haven't, but it's a big difference, isn't it? 41 goals compared to 14.
Yeah, it's a huge gulf, but they play the same way. No, that's what I would say. They do play the same style, coming away from home as they do at home. And yeah, the chance earlier doors, the Ben Slimani chance, is a real turning point. I think if you put that away, if you're clinical, then the game changes. Blackburn have got to come out a little bit more. They're chasing the game a little bit more, and it could create a little bit more space for us.
Just looking at the teams as they emerge for the start of the second half, still 0-0. I don't think anybody has made any further changes at half-time, but I mentioned at the end of the first half that Glenn Ridersholm, Johannes Holtorup's assistant, walked off the pitch alongside Kellen Fischer. He's walked back for the start of the second half, talking to Jack Stacey, Norwich's substitute right back. You see that, David?
Saw that, yeah.
I think I might be able to guess what one of the changes Norwich might make in this second half.
Yeah, I think with him being on, and like you said in the first half, it's got nothing to do with Callum Fisher and his performance or anything like that. He has been a real threat for us going forward, but with him being on a yellow card, the type of player that Cargbo is, and he wants to get 1v1 and dribble, and he's jinky, it is that there is that threat with him being on a yellow card of maybe it being a bit worse. So I think it would be a sensible decision to make at some point. And like you say, they're probably putting those wheels in motion as we speak.
I was a bit worried there because Norwich only had 10 players on the pitch, and everyone was looking sort of down towards the tunnel, and it was Borja Sainz hadn't come out, but he has now. And we can begin the second half. 0-0, all to play for. Norwich had the better opportunities in the first half. A glorious one in particular for Slimani, another one for Fischer. Neither of them found the target. But Norwich are attacking the end of the ground towards our right-hand side, where their fans are watching. You might be able to hear them singing "On the Ball City" in the background. Norwich in yellow and green. Blackburn in their blue and white half shirts. I'll go through the team lineups in a moment, but Fischer's just given the ball away, and that could cause an early problem at the start of this second half for Norwich, with Ribeiro coming forward for Blackburn on the left-hand side. Lays it off to the former Canary Todd Cantwell, but he gives it away to Sorensen, and Norwich break up that attack. Sorensen to Slimani, quick pass up to Sargent. Norwich could be away here. Sargent carries the ball forward. He's got Sainz outside him to the left-hand side. Here's Sainz in the Blackburn penalty area. Back towards Sargent. Can Sargent get a shot in from the angle? Good defending from Hyam to force him wide. Sargent, though, gets the ball back out to the left, and Cresceni. Slimani to Sargent. Cresceni again on the left-hand side. Here's Slimani, left corner of the penalty area. Norwich moving the ball quickly, deep inside Blackburn territory. It comes across to Nunez, 25 yards out, central position. Strong, holds off the challenge of Travis, but then has to play it back into the midfield. Here's Fischer on the right-hand side. Can Norwich work something here? Nunez, 25 yards out, angles the ball into the penalty area towards the left edge of the box. Cresceni has it now. Corner of the box, gives it to Sainz, tapped out to Slimani. Nunez in the D, shooting position, tries to pass it through to Sinats instead, and it gets blocked, but Nunez picks it up again. This time gives it to Fischer, right edge of the penalty area. Back now to Sorensen, who's 25 yards out. Sorensen will play it out towards the left-hand side. Norwich piling the pressure on here as they look to get the breakthrough. Slimani to Sainz, who tries to drag it away from his man. He gets tackled, and Blackburn survived that spell of Norwich attack and that spell of Norwich pressure. And here's Adam Forshaw. Norwich had the ball in good areas there, David Fox, but the opportunity never came.
Yeah, good crossing positions, but like we were saying at half-time, it's probably not something that they like to do. They like to try and work those openings and look for little intricate play in and around the box.
Strong from Sinats there to keep the ball alive for Norwich City. High up the pitch, gives it to Slimani. Now Cresceni. Norwich really have made a smart start to this second half. Ball played towards the Blackburn penalty area, cut out, but Sinats again alive to it, gets his foot to it, but can't steer it into the path of Fischer. Cargbo is back defending this time, and for Blackburn, we'll give it to Travis, and a poor pass from him straight out for a throw-in. So Norwich have gun in goal. Fischer, Duffy, Cordoba, Cresceni at the back. Nunez, Sorensen and Slimani in midfield. Dobbin went off injured in the first half, so Sinats on the right now, Sainz on the left, and Sargent up front. And Sinats is showing some real determination for Norwich City to try and carve out an opportunity. I thought a moment ago they were going to get Sargent and Sainz linking up perfectly, but it just didn't quite happen. Sargent is one of those who's not had an opportunity yet to score in this game, and we know how efficient he is and how deadly he is when he does get the ball in those sort of positions. Norwich need to try and work him an opportunity between now and the end of this game. 0-0. Cordoba for Norwich City, who are dominating the early skirmishes as far as the second half is concerned. Here's Sainz on the left-hand side. Cresceni has gone forward with him now. Tries to play it back to Sainz, but it was read by Dolan. It's been cut out. Blackburn have it, and then Forshaw makes a mistake, and Cresceni steals it. Blackburn with a panicked clearance, but it's ended up in a good pass to Dolan on the right-hand side, still inside his own half. Now Norwich win it back through Slimani, up towards Sargent. He's tackled by Carter. It just won't quite happen for Norwich in that final third at the moment, but now Sargent and Sorensen between them have won it back. High up the pitch, here's Sinats 25 yards out, runs straight into a defender, and Blackburn again with Cantwell. Should clear. He's actually played it back into his own penalty area, and Britton, the right back, will bring it out wide and will take the sting out of it for now, but Sainz has tackled him. Blackburn keep giving Norwich the opportunity to win it high up the pitch. Norwich haven't been able to punish them until this point, but here's Nunez finding Fischer in the penalty area to the right of goal, just couldn't take it in his stride. Cagbo beats him to it and then dribbles the ball out of play for a corner. It is still 0-0, but Blackburn almost seem to be doing their best to give Norwich City the ball.
Unless that's one of the scrappiest 2 minutes of football I think I've ever seen. It was just giveaway ball from everyone, and it was Fischer that looked like he just got the wrong side, but fair play to Cargo, who got back and we've won a corner.
It's all ended with Norwich's first corner of the match. 4.5 minutes into the second half. Nunez standing in front of those Norwich supporters on the right-hand side. Can he make something happen from this? Been a really positive start in terms of intent to the second half for Norwich City. They just haven't been able to carve out an opportunity. Will they now? Nunez floats the corner towards the far post. Duffy attacks it. Looping header that's going to drop wide. Good training ground routine that, wasn't it? Duffy, it's a difficult header though, because he's sort of running away from goal and he's got to angle it back almost over his own head, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think it was the best ball in. I think he's put him far it was well worked, like you say, but I think Nunez, I think it was, just dragged it a little bit too far out and he's ended up heading it from an area that he was never going to threaten the goal. But well worked corner, but yeah, like I say, I think he's just dragged the strike a little bit too far out and made the header back difficult. Blackburn
have pairs in goal. Britton, Carter, Hyam and Ribeiro their back four. Travis and Forshaw the holding midfielders. Todd Cantwell playing in the number 10 position. Cogbo and Dolan in the wide areas. And Matt Targay up front. A little bit like Josh Sargent, the two centre forwards haven't had a chance yet. I think they both have every right to look at their teammates at half time and say, look, I need some service. Norwich have had the better chances, but they've fallen to Slimani and Fischer and have not been able to take them. 0-0 at Ewood Park on a chilly but sunny afternoon on the 1st of March as Cordoba plays the ball back to Angus Gunn. Gunn's not really had a difficult save to make in this game at all. Duffy, former Blackburn Rovers player, plays it up towards halfway. Sienats manages to make sure that it gets to Sargent, but Blackburn sweep up and go back to Ainsley Pears, who a little bit like Angus Gunn. Angus Gunn's dad, of course, a goalkeeper of some repute who sat a few rows in front of us. Ainsley Pears, his dad, is Stephen Pears, who was the Middlesbrough goalkeeper for a long time in the 90s. Here's Campbell on the left-hand side for Blackburn. Nunez easily just takes the ball back off him, though. And Norwich have got it back. And Nunez gives it away. But Blackburn have nearly released Cogbo in a good position on the left-hand side, but he can't keep it in. And the scrappy nature of the game continues. And the sort of football, we were talking at half-time, David, 0-0, the sort of football that Norwich want to play, quick, intricate passing, it's nice when it works, but it's not easy to do with championship players who by their very nature can be inconsistent.
That's sort of how it's panned out so far, and I think, you know, when it does work and when it comes off and when they do get those little 1-2s and interplay between players, it looks great and it works. It's very difficult to defend.
And Cordoba lifts one through the middle, and Sainz might be onto it here. It just bounces through to the goalkeeper. That was probably a yard too much on it. That made the goalkeeper able to gather it before Sainz could swoop, but a more direct approach there from Cordoba. It wasn't a long pump up the pitch. It was one that was sent forward a little bit more direction than that, hoping to release Sainz. Didn't quite come off, and Pears, the goalkeeper, clears the ball up towards halfway, but Cresceni just lets it run, and Cordoba has possession back. It'll be interesting to see what Norwich do in their next game on Friday night when Callum Doyle is back after his 2-match ban. Cordoba's done okay in there in the last couple of matches, but Doyle's been so good for Norwich this season. Does he come straight back in? Maybe it will rest on whether Mahovo is fit and they could get him back in the team at left back. Mahovo missing this one through injury. Here's Dolan on the right hand side for Blackburn, crossing into the penalty area. Opportunity here that's been put over the top. Blackburn, for once they had a spare man. I think it's actually the centre back Carter who'd gone forward and was completely unmarked on the edge of the penalty area. And once again we see the chances in these games are not falling to the players that the teams would want to be on the end of them.
No, I think he's ended up winning the ball and he's just kept going forward. He's done that a couple of times so far, and you know, won the ball and kept going forward, and it was difficult to pick up in the box. And yeah, half volley from sort of 15 yards out, difficult skill, and when it's your centre half let's run forward doing it. Fortunately for us, it was high, wide and handsome.
Norwich now playing out well, and Sienats knocks it into the path of Nunez. Good football from Norwich City. Nunez carries it over the halfway line. He's got runners either side. Tries to play Fischer in on the right, but Cogbo went to ground, and Fischer's managed to beat him in the penalty area. Cuts it back. Goalkeeper cuts it out, and it doesn't run for a Norwich player. And you can see Sainz looking at Fischer and saying, "I was in a great position there." The cutback wasn't enough from Fischer, but now look at this. Nunez has nicked it high up the pitch for Norwich City, right corner of the box. Jakob Sorensen having a slalom forward. He tries a cross, it's cut out, and it goes behind for a corner. If Norwich can keep their nerve here, David, it's 0-0. I just feel that they're going to get a chance.
They will, and it comes from the good play that we speak about. When it does come off, when they do link up well and get players close to each other, little touches round corners, they can get out of any situation, and they work their way up the pitch brilliant. Cogbo's gone back with Callum Fisher, but he's not managed to put in a good tackle, and you can see what he's trying to do. Sargent is on his own at the back post. He's there for a tap-in, and a difficult one because the keeper's always going to cover that area and manage to get there.
Well, Norwich's last away goal at Hull was a brilliant Fischer cross that Sargent dispatched with the heads. That one, again, great position, but they didn't make the most of it. So now Norwich have a corner. The second of the game, they've both been since half-time. 10 minutes into the second half. Nunez from the right-hand side towards the far post, again looking for Duffy, who heads it into the 6-yard box. Cordoba's up and can't get on the end of it. It's going to run for Nunez, who wallops it back into the penalty area. Cut out by Campwell, and it runs away for Nunez again to put the ball in for a third time. And it's been headed away by Blackburn, and Dolan thumps it clear. Plenty of good attacking play from Norwich, getting themselves into some great areas, but just lacking that little bit of guile in the final third. 14,290 the attendance. Just over 900 Norwich fans here. It was an early start for many of them. I think the buses left Carrow Road at 5:45 this morning. Is it going to be worth the long trip? 0-0. They haven't had a goal yet to send them back home happy, but they've got Norwich attacking towards them in this second half. And at the moment, although it is 0-0, and probably you do have to score when you're on top in games, at the moment though, Norwich are the team in the second half that have looked the more likely, but now they're playing it out from the back again, and they're doing it well. And here's Nunez onto Slimani, 10 yards or so inside his own half, but he swept it out to the left-hand side where Crescenni is waiting for it. Crescenni brings the ball infield. Fischer's in space on the right-hand side. It goes to Nunez instead. Fischer getting wider still. Nunez gives it to Kellen Fischer now. The right back for Norwich is well forward. Intelligent run into the channel here from Sienats. He's in the Blackburn penalty area. Beats his man. Oh, tries to play it towards the far post. There's nobody there. And it goes behind for a goal kick. And again, great football from Norwich City. Good build-up. They get themselves in a great position. And then the final ball just wasn't right.
Yeah, that's when they do get it right. It's such a nice football to watch. You know, it starts from Angus gunning a goal kick, and the way they work the ball through the thirds, lots of interplay between the players, and then it ends up with Cernach running in behind in the penalty box. I thought he could have gone down, mate. You know, I was waiting for that tackle, but didn't quite come in. But yeah, the Sargent's waiting on the edge of the box, and he's hung up to the back post, and there was no one there. But like we spoke about a few times already, when they do get it right, it is nice to watch.
It was almost as if he assumed Sargent was going to be at the far post and hung up the perfect ball to him, only to look and see that he wasn't there at all. He's waiting on the edge of the box for the cutback. Crescenni getting himself in a bit of a tangle here with Dolan, but he's won it, and he's been helped out by Sainz, and Sainz now runs through the centre circle for Norwich City. Canary's on top at the moment. Can they take the lead though? Here's Nunez on the right hand side, steps past Campwell, gives it to Sorensen, or step over from Sorensen, who's then brought down by Cargbo. And it's a free kick for Norwich City just over the halfway line. 0-0. I think those Norwich fans away to our right-hand side will be encouraged, but the whole thing about needing to score in these spells when you're on top, that can come back to haunt you, can't it?
Yeah, it can, and there's a reason Blackburn are in the top six, because, you know, they've probably had lots of games like this that have gone this way, and they've come out the right side because they've hung in the game, they've stayed in there, and they've picked them off when they've had the opportunity. So it's really important that, like you say, when we are dominating the ball and the territory like we're doing, we make the most of it.
Ball played forward there, diagonal by Norwich to Fischer, who actually does well to make something of it, really, because it looked like it was going to go behind for a goal kick. He slid and he got the ball into the penalty area, but with no great quality, it was easy for the goalkeeper to pick up. And Carter now goes long for Blackburn. Duffy wins a towering header on halfway, chested down by Slimani, worked forward towards Sainz. Remember, 3 months now since Sainz last scored a goal. Here's Nunez, centre of the pitch for Norwich City. He's got Fischer waiting on the right hand side. Yanisov Torop, arms folded, steps towards the side of the pitch there, almost as if he's anticipating something with his team in possession. Cordoba out wide to the left hand, Borja Sainz, who's found a bit of room here, slows it down, now plays it infield along the ground to Nunez, 25 yards out. Nunez is going to hit one, it's deflected, and it might roll towards Sainz. No, it's going to fall instead in favour of the goalkeeper, who gathers it. There's a few times Norwich have got the ball in that range, 25 yards from goal and closer, and they've been resisting these sort of pot shots, but sometimes it is worth it, isn't it? You get a deflection, you never know.
It is, especially when someone like Nunez is on the ball. You like to think, you know, clean strike of a football, and yeah, didn't quite run for Sainz there, but that, like you say, it does show what can happen if you chance your arm and sort of have a shot at goal. 15 minutes played, 0-0 on BBC Radio Norfolk. Blackburn with Hyam, the defender, from inside his own penalty area, clearing it away towards the right hand side. Norwich pressing up here to try and keep the ball in the Blackburn half, as it has been for most of the game since half time. They just haven't been able to find that killer pass, and it remains 0-0. This match, this fixture, Norwich beat Blackburn in 2019 on the night they clinched promotion to the Premier League. Since then, the sides have met 8 times, and there hasn't been a single home win, either at Carrow Road or Ewood Park. The away teams in recent times have done well in this fixture. And that
The way the pattern of the game is going at the moment, I wouldn't rule out another away win here, but Norwich need to see if they can find a way of taking the lead. They're drawing 0-0 at the moment. They've not made the most of their good spell at the start of this half, as Campbell plays one in behind the Norwich defence looking for Dolan, but Cordoba's defended that well, got back and breaks it up and gets Norwich back in possession again. I heard Johannes Torp talk about that before this season. Cordoba's pace is such an asset that even when teams think they're going to get in behind Norwich, you can just race back and can shut the back door. And he did then. Here's Sargent in the centre circle, laying it off to Slimani. Sainz outside him, skipping in here, Sainz. 25 yards out, goes past his man, and past another one. Brilliant run, gives it to Sargent. Oh, and then Sargent on the edge of the penalty area. Could have gone for goal, could have played it to Fischer. In the end, he tried to lay it off for Fischer, and the ball's rolled behind for a goal kick because I don't think Fischer was expecting it.
Brilliant from Borja Sainz, where he's picked the ball up, little quick feet in and around the box, and Fischer's made the run waiting for the pass off Sainz, and he's instead played it into Sargent, and Callum Fischer then stopped his run because of the pass, and Sargent thinks he's still going and can't quite get on that same wavelength, but a lot more threat in this start of this second half, and yeah, I think Blackburn looks like they're going to make a couple of changes. I think they're going to have to, because at the minute it is all Norwich.
Yeah, I'm on the crest of a dilemma here, David Fox. 0-0. I don't know whether I'm expecting a Norwich goal, there's a goal coming, or whether I'm worried they're not making the most of this spell of the game.
Yeah, exactly that. This is where you have to make the most of these opportunities and take your chances when you are on top.
Well, Todd Cantwell's coming off. He's not going to get a goal against his former team. Off he goes. He was a bit of an injury doubt for this game after missing the last one. He's played an hour. Andreas Weimann comes on. Not a bad sub to be able to bring on, really, in the Championship. Weimann, a man of his experience. And Adam Forshaw as well. We've got another former Canary coming off the field. Schronstad, who's just coming back from injury, is going to replace him. Looks like there might be a third substitute as well, just coming up for Blackburn. So Forshaw and Cantwell off, the two former Canaries on the hour. And they did have a third sub ready. I'm just going to see whether he's going to come on or not. This is Emmanuel Dennis, another, again, not a bad sub to have in the Championship. A player with Premier League goals to his name, former Watford. He is going to replace Tyrese Dolan. And I think the fact that Blackburn are the team that have made the three changes there on the hour does tell you the story of the game, really, doesn't it? It's Valerian Ismail, his first game in charge of Blackburn. He feels he's got to do something. Yeah,
it's something he did at Barnsley as well quite a bit. He did make a lot of subs. He made three subs on the hour pretty regular, and he's done the same again today. And it's all those attacking players as well.
Well, Emmanuel Dennis, who's just come on, seen him score against Norwich for Watford, but that game where Josh Sargent scored the incredible scorpion kick at Watford, Emmanuel Dennis was sent off in that game, so I've seen him have things go either way against Norwich City. Let's see which way it goes today. It looks like he's going to play towards the right hand side. Andreas Weimann has gone in the Todd Cantwell position behind Maktar Gay, and Tronstad will sit in the midfield alongside Travis. How long before Norwich City make a change, I wonder? Again, it's a dilemma because they've been on top for the most part of this second half, but so the temptation must be to leave it as it is, but they haven't made those opportunities tell, as Sienats does well initially to get in behind the Blackburn defence, but then didn't really play the right ball, and Britton, the Blackburn right back, easily picks the ball up and clears upfield. Duffy with an awkward header there up against Maktar Gay. It's been headed through towards the edge of the Norwich box. Gunny's there to sweep up, steepling clearance from the Norwich City goalkeeper. Still the sun's out, chilly afternoon here as Callum Fischer loses possession, and Blackburn get Ribeiro, the left back forward, in on the left hand side, holds off the challenge of Nunez, level with the penalty area, lays it off now to the dangerous Cargbo, who crosses in. There's a flicked header at the near post from Weimann. I think that's his first touch that's coming on, and he's headed it just wide. They're making a difference, the substitutes.
They are, and I think having someone like Andy Weimann in that sort of number 10 role instead of a Todd Cantwell, he is probably more of a goal threat in terms of making runs nearer the striker, looking to get on the end of crosses, which he's done there, and straight away sort of lifted the crowd as well, which have been pretty quiet all game.
Weimann's 33 now, 8 goals though this season. I remember him scoring a couple of goals for Aston Villa against Norwich City in a League Cup quarter-final 13 years ago now, would you believe. Here comes Fischer on the right hand side for Norwich City, giving it to Sainz. Sainz trying his luck on the right wing, back heel towards Sienats, who holds it up nicely here. Sienats, corner of the penalty area, then lays it back into the midfield, and Sorensen. Nunez outside him, back to Sorensen, he gives it back to Nunez. Norwich passing the ball backwards here, but looking to open up the pitch and work the right angle for the attack. Cordoba out to the left hand side, and Cresceni back again to Cordoba. Cordoba's got Slimani alongside him. The ball goes to Slimani via Sorensen, and now it's with Nunez. Yanisov Torup just clapping his hands together, urging his side to move the ball a little bit more quickly here, I think. That's the way I'm interpreting his sign language down on the side of the pitch anyway. I'm pleased that his team were in possession. We just had a little scare from the Weimann header. Still 0-0. Cordoba for Norwich City. Up against Weimann. Drags it back past him, and Weimann working so hard, he's just chased Norwich back without touching the ball. So they're closer to their own goal than they are the Blackburn goal at the moment. They've got to build from deep. That's what the right substitution can do. Oxford 2, Coventry 2 elsewhere today in the Championship. We'll see Oxford at Carrow Road on Friday. And we hope Norwich do better than they did on the first day of the season when they were awful at Oxford and well beaten. Lots happened since then though. Sorensen hits an awkward back pass there towards Gunn. It bounces up to thigh height. He controls and clears. And the FA Cup, Preston now lead Burnley 3-0. And again between two other Lancashire sides. 0-0. Blackburn managed that spell of the game well then, didn't they? Didn't really touch the ball, but didn't allow Norwich to get anywhere with it.
No, they didn't. Sorensen had the opportunity to get out there, but he's played a ball, you know, he's not received it on his back foot and looked to play forward. He sort of bounced one back and invited the pressure again, and Blackburn have the ball at the back.
Norwich do have options on the bench, of course. Marcondes is back from injury. I wonder whether it might be his sort of game. Just seen Jack Stacey called back. I wonder whether we're going to see him coming on. Sinats here, who's already on as a substitute for the injured Dobbin in the first half, does well to turn away from his man and gets it to Sargent. Sargent up towards the edge of the penalty area here for Norwich City. It's Josh Sargent in the D, hits the shot, and it's blocked. Sainz was in space to his left-hand side, but Sargent hasn't had many chances today, so you can't really blame him, the form he's in, for going for goal from there. Nunez has now got it in midfield. Back to Duffy. Now it's Sorensen. I think Sainz was blaming Sargent for not spotting him there. Poor pass from Sorensen, intercepted by Dennis, and then Cresceni wins the challenge, and Dennis is late on him, and it's going to be a free kick to Norwich City, and the yellow card is already in the hand of the referee. And we've already seen with this referee, Lee Doughty, how high the bar is for cards in this game, but he had no doubt in his mind on that one. Emmanuel Dennis on the pitch, and his first real involvement is to get booked for being late into Cresceni there.
Yeah, clear yellow card. It's caught him late. Is it high? We're just watching about, probably not high enough to be anything more than a yellow, but yeah, it looks a sore one for Cresceni's going to need the physio.
Yeah, Cresceni's down. Norwich have already lost Dobbin to injury in this game. I know when you were getting a cup of tea at half-time, David, there was a lot of talk on social media at half-time from Norwich fans. They feel that Dominic Hyam in the first half perhaps could have got a red card for the arm across the face, the elbow in the face, some were saying, of Angus Gunn. If you weren't with us in the first half, Gunn had the ball in his hand after collecting a set piece, went to try and release it quickly, and Hyam just ran across him and did catch him with a swinging arm. The assistant referee was right on the scene. There was an obvious conversation going on in the headsets between the officials, and in the end it was just a talking to, not even a yellow card. I don't know whether you've seen it again, but there's a few Norwich fans feel that could have been a red card.
I can totally see that, really. I mean, at the time when you see it, you just thought it was sort of that obvious sort of coming together where a player looks to block a goalkeeper who's looking to do something quick when he's got the ball in his hands. But actually, when you did watch it again, his arm was in such an unnatural position that he's only doing one thing really, and he's sticking his elbow into Angus Gunn's face. Whether there was any real sort of power or ferociousness in the action, it still doesn't take away the fact that he's got his arm up in the air and in the face of a Norwich player. And yeah, you could tell straight away the bench weren't happy. They were all in and around the fourth official, and certainly they must have seen an angle that thought that it was a little bit worse than what the referee thought.
Well, Crescenti's still down here after that challenge from Dennis, for which he was booked. Don't forget, we've got another commentary coming up later on. Kings Lynn against South Shields in National North. Are you definitely into the Man City Plymouth game?
I'm in. I'm in.
He's got a ticket.
And I'm just waiting for a car park pass as well. I think I've got a car park.
It's all right.
Because my mate's getting the train in so I can park my car.
Yeah, these sorted. It's who you know in the world of football, sorted. You see. Do you think that one will still be 0-0 with 20 minutes to go?
I don't know. As a Plymouth fan, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, he's a former Plymouth player as well, of course, David Fox. Now that's good. Crescenti's up on his feet. I think he's going to be okay. Just giving Norwich City and their coaching staff an opportunity to just have a little chat about where they are in the game. I wonder whether it felt like Jack Stacey might be coming on a few moments ago, but I wonder whether they're just going to see how Cresceni goes, because with of course Mahovo injured for this one and Doyle suspended, if they do need to take Cresceni off, you would think Fischer's going to have to go and play left back.
Yeah.
So Sorensen can play there as well, but you would imagine that's what they'll do. They're just I think holding fire on the substitution they were going to make. Crescenti's still off the field, talking to the physio. I think they want to get him back on as soon as possible. Norwich, temporarily at least, only have 10 players on the pitch. Cordoba goes long, cut out by Carter for Blackburn. And in that left-back position, Blackburn are exploiting the space, and McTargay hooks it into the penalty area, and it might fall here for Cargbo. Really good block from Callum Fischer. Norwich desperate to get Crescenti on the pitch, but actually they've won it back with Nunez. Crescenti does come back on the field. Here comes Sainz, sprinting through the centre circle, taking on one player too many, really. Britton took it off it. Smart tackle, and releases McTargay, who's gone out to the right-hand side here for Blackburn. Cordoba matching him for pace, and then sort of bouncing off him. McTargay is strong, he's got the ball in, and Duffy at the near post has to see it behind for a corner.
Shows what he's all about there, to be fair to him. Gay with his run down the wing and his power and his pace. Unlucky at both sides. He's, like you say, he just took on one person too many. He's won the ball back, Blackburn, and created a corner and built a bit of pressure. It's things like this that they've probably not done in this second half, but they've got to get the crowd involved a little bit, Blackburn, because Norwich really have dominated this second half without getting the rewards for it.
Hyam's gone forward. He scored the equaliser in a 1-1 draw here last season. But this Blackburn corner, right-hand side, played in towards the near post. Fischer easily heads it away. Collected by Borja Sainz. He's on the edge of his own penalty area, but only one thing on his mind is to see how far up the pitch he can get with the ball. Makes it as far as the centre circle before he gets challenged, but he has tried to release Nunez, who is desperately trying to get on the end of that one. You can see him trying to get the legs moving quickly, but he's going to be beaten by the defender, and back it goes to the Blackburn goalkeeper. Duffy wins the header from a high ball forward. Norwich have it back in the midfield here. I think Nunez is still getting his breath back. I think he'd rather not have the ball for a moment or two after that run forward. He's got it now though, Nunez. I think this will just be he's just sort of taking the sting out of the game, Nunez, so he can get his breath back. Plays it short to Sorensen. Blackburn are well set now. They've got everyone back behind the ball. It's still 0-0 with 19 minutes to go. Crescenti's come across to this right-hand side. I think that's as a result of that corner being cleared a few moments ago. Let's see how freely he's moving. He's laid it back to Nunez. Nunez hits a vicious diagonal ball over to the left looking for Fischer. It's been cut out by the defender Britton, and out of play for a throw-in to Norwich City. Still see Crescenti communicating with the physio. I don't think they're 100% happy, are they, with him at the moment?
It was a naughty tackle, to be fair. He was very late. He's caught him on his ankle, and like I say, it's certainly a yellow card.
Nunez to Crescenti on the right-hand side. Back to Nunez, who is now carrying the ball forward, and he's got options. Plays it towards the left corner of the box. Kellen Fischer's there for Norwich City. Gives it to Sainz on the edge of the area. Sainz is tightly marked. Can he find some room? Lays it off to Nunez. Nunez gives it to Crescenti. Right corner of the area. He's got 4 or 5 yellow shirts in the box. Short pass played back to Crescenti, who's tackled again there. And this time Norwich get a throw in. He's moving a bit more freely now, Crescenti, isn't he? And I think, well, Norwich have a throw in level with the Blackburn penalty area. The two Norwich fullbacks are just going to take the opportunity to get back onto the right sides of the pitch. Fischer's going to come all the way over to take this throw in. Level with the Blackburn box. 18 minutes to go. The longer it goes on, the more crucial that first goal feels. Sinats lays it off to Fischer. Here's Sorensen on the right-hand side for Norwich City on his 100th Canaries appearance. He's given it to Cordoba halfway inside the half of Blackburn. Blocked on the edge of the penalty area, but Norwich have won it back. Here's Sinats, he's tackled. They've won it back again with Sargent. Fischer, right edge of the box, back to Nunez, who swings one in, but it's charged down. And Norwich go again. Nunez heads it back towards the halfway line, and Duffy. Cordoba nods it forward. Sargent shows for it, makes it his. Well, he did so well, but he'd come from an offside position, and they still can't open Blackburn up. And it so often, for 2 or 3 spells of this game, where it's felt within Norwich's grasp, it's felt like a goal is going to come, but it never quite has. Here comes Jack Stacey for Norwich City, player who's been involved in the squad for every single league game since he joined the club, and he is going to replace Callum Fischer, which isn't a surprise given the working over that Fischer was given by Cargbo in the first half. He's actually dealt with it really well since. It's also quite a promising sign for Ben Crescenti, because I think if there was an injury worry over him, it would be him coming off. So Stacey will just go to right back now, and it'll be his turn to try and keep Cargbo quiet. He's done well, Fischer, actually, hasn't he?
He's done really well all game. It's just the way that the game panned out and the areas that Blackburn were trying to exploit. It was just down his side. I mean, absolutely no slight on his performance as well at all. I think he's been really good and been a real, outlet for us going forward as well. And like you say, just the work he has to put in, the way he plays the game. I don't think you can quite do that for 90 minutes and a bit of fresh legs for these last 20 minutes. You got a feeling that these last 20 minutes are pretty big now in terms of the the context of probably not only this game but also the season as well, and who can really go and put a marker down in these last 20 minutes, because the game's there for both teams.
0-0. Cordoba plays it long, cut out by Blackburn. Cresceni gets a touch on the left-hand side, plays it forward, far too much on that. He's got 3 attacking players look at him saying, look, we're never going to get on the end of that. And it's gone through to Pears, the goalkeeper, who, for all their good build-up play, Norwich just haven't worked enough in this game. 16 minutes to go, goalless at Ewood Park on BBC Radio Norfolk. Britton, the Blackburn right back, goes long. Cordoba gets his head to it, and that actually brings Mac Targay into play in a central position. He's got it through towards Weimann, who's burst into the penalty area. Weimann from the angle, brilliant recovery from Cordoba, who blocks it. Stacey was there behind him as well, then Cordoba commits a foul. And Blackburn have a free kick, and this by the corner flag on the right-hand side. That pace is so useful for Cordoba.
You've probably seen the best and worst of him right there. His pace to recover and get back in and block the shot was brilliant. Then didn't need to give away that free kick in a dangerous position because Andy Weimann's going nowhere. He's running to the corner flag and he's sort of just bundled him over and given away a free kick in a dangerous area.
We just said that Jack Stacey had been brought on to keep Cargbo quiet, and he's done the job, because 2 minutes later Cargbo's coming off. Had a really good first half for Justice Cargbo. He's played all his career in Italy, the Sierra Leone international. Caused Callum Fischer all sorts of problems without really having the finishing touches or the final ball. He is replaced by Ryan Hedges, who has got just 1 goal this season, and that was against Norwich City in a draw at Carrow Road right at the start of the season. 0-0. Change made by Blackburn Rovers then, with Hedges coming on for Cargbo. But a pressing concern here for Norwich of a Blackburn free kick. Right hand side, played into the penalty area. Gun comes, gets a good punch on it. It's going to come though for Travis, who will try and keep the attack going by finding Britton on the right hand side. Sienats does well to close him down, blocks the ball forward, and Stacey puts it out of play, and it's a throw in. 15 minutes to go. If Norwich can get a win here, they'll be right in the playoff mix. If they concede, and Blackburn will have a really comfortable cushion ahead of them with just 11 games to go after this one. It's big. These 15 minutes are big. 0-0 at the moment, all to play for. Ribeiro for Blackburn. It's laid off towards Hedges. His first involvement in the game is to release Ribeiro well forward on the left-hand side. Cuts it back for the byline, headed away by Cordoba. Bounces up for Travis on the edge of the box. He's then tackled by Sienats, who clears it away. And you certainly always get a lot of hard work from Ante Sienats, don't you? Doesn't perhaps always get the weight of goals that you would hope for a player who plays in his position, but he will certainly come back and help out defensively when needed, as Blackburn play one forward, and it's going to go through towards Angus Gunn. Fascinating. Well, I wonder whether Norwich will change it. They've got Marcondes back in the squad today. I know Hernandez is on the bench. Schwartau, really, in terms of attacking options, that's what they've got, because they've already brought on Sienats for the injured Dobbin, so it will be interesting to see how long the head coach leaves this. Sargent's still on the field as well. Hasn't had many opportunities in this game, but you still feel if Norwich can just get one for the American, there's every chance. Canary Call coming up at full time with Rob Butler and David Fox as Norwich City aim the ball forward on the right hand side, but it's cut out by the defender Ribeiro, Portuguese, and headed back to the goalkeeper Pears, and it remains 0-0 between Blackburn Rovers and Norwich City. Cleared forward by Blackburn. Clever touch there from Travis through the midfield. Here's Weimann, knocks it beyond the Norwich defence. Gunn outside his penalty area. Just hesitated for a moment, and I think that made Hedges think he could get on the end of it, but Gunn knew what he was doing. Taps the ball away, and the Canaries back in comfortable possession. Slimani to Sorensen. Come on City is the cry from those 900 fans who had the early wake-up call this morning to make the long journey to Lancashire. Sainz sent back into his own half there by a determined challenge. Still has the ball though, does the Spaniard, and switches it to the right wing. Oh, bounced up so awkwardly there in front of Jack Stacey, he couldn't control, and out it goes for a throw into Blackburn.
Yeah, it fired up to him, didn't it? I think the interesting thing now is, like, you know, a point probably isn't the worst result. I think you're going away from home. It's different. You don't want to be doing things that sort of cost you the result and making silly changes. It's a difficult situation this last 10-15 minutes.
Here's Britton for Blackburn to Dennis on the right hand side. Britton's continued his run, and he's got a chance to cut it back into the penalty area. Comes off a defender and goes back to Gunn. Doesn't look like either side is settling for the point. 0-0. Sienats is pressed and then manages to win a free kick, chasing it back towards the right back position. 11 minutes to go. Blackburn Rovers 0, Norwich City 0. These two sides mixed form since the turn of the year. Since January the 1st, Blackburn have played 12, won 5 and lost 7. Norwich have won 4 of their last 10 in the league, so up and down to both these sides. Nothing to separate them at the moment. They drew earlier on in the season. They drew here last year. There's a foul on halfway and a free kick to Blackburn. Slimani penalised. So often these games have been tight in recent times. Remember Timo Pukki getting a late winner here in one of Norwich's promotion seasons under Daniel Farke. It's going to take something like that to win this one. Still goalless. Blackburn have possession. Way back inside their own half. It goes towards Carter. Had a solid return. First game since October today for him, and he's done well. Talked a lot about Todd Cantwell, who's gone off in this game, Adam Forshaw, but they have another former Canary on their books to Blackburn, Danny Bart, the defender who was with Norwich last season. He's out injured for this one today. Carter's come back in. Dennis on the right-hand side for Blackburn. Giving it to Travis, 10 minutes to go. Blackburn now looking dangerous. Ribeiro on the left corner of the penalty area, gives it to Travis, played into the penalty area, back to Travis who continues his run. Duffy makes a good challenge and the ball goes behind for a goal kick. Game back off Travis, who helped Ipswich to promotion last season. He was loaned to Town for the second half of last season, made 9 appearances. Back to Blackburn in the summer though. Coventry have scored again. They're 3-2 up at Oxford. Coventry, one of those teams hoping to gate crash the top 6 over the final couple of months of the season. We're into March now. It really feels like the business end, doesn't it? All the games feel like they mean so much more now at this time of year. Yeah,
a lot of jeopardy in these. You can, like you say, you can sort of feel it when the tension around the place. Everyone's aware of the importance of the game and not getting beaten. You don't really want to be negative and set up like that. I don't think any team is. But also you're aware of that consequence if you were to get beaten in these sorts of games.
Amazing to think that Borja Sainz is still the joint top goal scorer in the Championship. We're now in March. His last goal was in November. Such a flying start to the season. Stacey caught out. Blackburn through on the left-hand side here with Maktar Gay. Plays it into the penalty area. It's been cut out. Falls for Weimann on the edge of the box. Former Villa man goes to work and finds Gay, who crosses into the penalty area towards the far post. Emmanuel Dennis attacks it, heads it down. Good defending from Shane Duffy. Came from nowhere there to clear the ball away, and now it goes for throw in. And suddenly, almost for the first time in the game really, it's the Blackburn fans who are beginning to believe their team might be the ones that do score first.
You'd like to think they'd have a bit of a go these last 10-15 minutes. Blackburn, you know, the crowd haven't really been involved all game. I think Norwich have had a lot of control in this game, and I'm sure the nature of the Championship, there will be a moment or a spell that Blackburn will think that they'll have a chance in this last 10 minutes.
I wonder whether Norwich will rue the lack of opportunities created, particularly at the start of this second half, when they seemed to be controlling the game, had lots of the ball, seemed to have Blackburn worried, but they just couldn't play that final ball to carve them open. Here's Hedges on the left-hand side for Blackburn, who scored against Norwich earlier this season. Releasing Ribeiro, Stacey makes a really well-timed sliding tackle. The other player goes for a throw-in. Blackburn making all the running now, trying to give their new manager, Valerian Ismail, a win. Beats Norwich City once in his career so far. He's been at Barnsley, he's been at West Brom, he's been at Watford. And here he is at Blackburn with Hedges, left-hand side, gets the ball into the penalty area. Slimani's there to clear for Norwich City. It's back to the wall now for Norwich, almost for the first time this afternoon. Weimann on the left-hand side. Blackburn feel like they've weathered the storm from Norwich, and now they're looking to be the team that strikes late. Marcondes is just getting stripped and ready for Norwich down below us. A welcome return for him, I think, about to happen. He's missed the last 3 games. Hyam goes long for Blackburn. It's not a bad ball. Dennis is in the penalty area, gets tackled by Cordoba. Just looked across to see whether the flag went up there. It didn't. And Norwich then, with Stacey clearing the ball away, they get the throw in. They may get a free kick actually, because I think Maktar Gay just left something on Jack Stacey. I don't know whether Dennis had just strayed offside, but he hadn't, and that was good defending. He
timed his run really well from out to in, and it's very well defended in the end. I think probably one of the main reasons why the game is 0-0, I wouldn't really put it down to the attacking play as such. I think both sets of defenders have actually done really well. As you mentioned, Carter's been good for Blackburn, and our 2 centre-backs certainly defending the middle of the goal. Duffy and Cordoba have been outstanding as well, and I think that's one of the main reasons why the game is goalless.
It will be really interesting to see on Friday night Callum Doyle, who's started every game he's been available for this season. Is he going to come straight back into it? Norwich clean sheets. They've only kept 1 at home all season, but they have kept 4 on the road, and this could be number 5. 0-0 at the moment. Duffy wins the header on halfway. Sorensen collides there with the Blackburn man, Tronstad, but loses the challenge in the air, and so it will be Ribeiro on the left-hand side who will come forward. Good tackle in the end from Sienats, but then Sienats left it because he thought Nunez was going to take over, and that's allowed Hedges to take the most of the indecision, cross it in, and now this could be a red card for Emmanuel Dennis, because he's just caught Crescenni for the second time, and Emmanuel Dennis, who was once sent off against Norwich City as a Watford player, has now been sent off against Norwich City as a Blackburn Rovers player. On the pitch for 24 minutes, the Nigerian, he fouled Crescenni earlier on. He was late again there. It's a red card. I don't think you can have too many complaints about it. 2 yellows, and Blackburn Rovers are down to 10.
Yeah, he's high with his challenge. His first one was a very clear yellow card. Could have been a little, if it was a little bit higher, you'd say a nailed on red, but I can see why he's gone in there at the back post. He's got to go and challenge for the ball, but his foot's high. He's caught Crescenni again. Crescenni's been battered off him, to be fair, in this last 25-30 minutes, and it's one of those where Crescenni's cleared the ball, Dennis has left his studs high, and nailed on yellow card. And the fans are on at the referee and Crescenni, but it's a nailed on yellow card, and 2 of those and he's off.
Well, Crescenni was with Blackburn on loan last season, so he's the one that's come back to, I say, haunt his former club. Not really, it's not his fault. He's been cleaned out twice by Emmanuel Dennis, but I don't think that's even a controversial decision. I think they were both definite yellow cards, and this referee, Lee Doughty, he's only produced 2 red cards this season. They've both been in Norwich games. He sent off Cordoba at Sunderland, and now he sent off Dennis here. I wonder whether that just changes things for these last 5 minutes. Blackburn were just beginning to get their tails up. Now they're down to 10 men. Does that hand the impetus to Norwich City?
Has to, has to. Real opportunity now.
Here's Nunez, right-hand side for Norwich. Plays it in field to Slimani. Clever touch onto Borja Sainz, edge of the penalty area, and Sargent gives it back to Sainz. Can he force his way through? No, there's just too many defenders there, and they've got it back off him. Maktar Gueye holding the ball up admirably here for Blackburn on halfway, and then when it is chopped up towards the halfway line, Crescenni takes it back for Norwich City. Marcondes and Jacob Wright are going to come on for Norwich City next time the ball goes out of play. 4 minutes left, 0-0. Can Norwich find a winner against the 10 men? Sainz has peeled out to the right-hand side to find some room. Sienats in field, played into the penalty area but didn't find a teammate, but he's won it back. Well done, Sienats, for sticking to his task. Sainz on the right-hand side brings it forward slowly, now gives it to Slimani, 20 yards out, again just overdoes it, just tries to take on too many players. Sorensen goes to win it back for Norwich City, there's no foul. Here's Sargent, tees up Crescenni, left edge of the penalty area, his cross goes right through the 6-yard box. Sienats and Stacey both in there, but neither of them could get on the end of it.
So unlucky. Stacey just couldn't quite get on the end. It's what they've been trying to do all game, real narrow into play and then play wide, and Crescenni's put a ball right across the danger, right across the 6-yard box, and no one could get a touch on it. But you've probably seen last sort of 2 minutes of play just how the game's gone, with Norwich looking for real tight interplay around the edge of the box, but Blackburn have got so many numbers central that it's so difficult to break down.
Interesting changes here. Crescenni is coming off and Marcondes has replaced him, and they're taking off Slimani as well, and Wright is coming on, and Jakob Sorensen was called over by Yanisov Torup. So what I think is going to happen here is that Sorensen, on his 100th Norwich appearance, is going to go to left back, and Blackburn are making their final change. Maktar Gueye, the big striker, is coming off, and on is coming Ohashi, the Japanese international who made a storming start to the season. He scored at Carrow Road. He got 5 in 7 at the start of his career, including a late equaliser at Carrow Road. 5 in 7 at the start of the season. He scored once since the middle of September, but on he comes to help his team, I suppose from a Blackburn point of view, see out a point now, because they're down to 10 men. Norwich have got 11 on the field. Can the return of Marcondes make the difference for Norwich City? Fascinating, isn't it, David Fox?
It is. Really intriguing. That sending off really changed the dynamic of how I thought this last 5-10 minutes will go.
And Marcondes straight into the action, wins it, or at least puts himself about high on the edge of the penalty area. Briefly had it, but then Blackburn have taken it straight back off him. Loose ball played back into the Blackburn area. Britton will clear it away, and there is the left back now, Sorensen. I mentioned this is 100th game for Norwich today, and we've seen what he's all about today. So often he's been asked to play in lots of different positions. He's been brought down there. It's a clear free kick, but the crowd are all up around us. Yeah, it's funny, they're funny football fans, aren't they? That was a clear foul. But having just had a player sent off, the howls of injustice around Ewood Park. 2 minutes to go. Still 0-0. Is there a winner? Johanna Softora urges Norwich forward. Stacey on the right-hand side controls the ball. Calmly played to Nunez. Nunez surveying his options. Returns it to Stacey, who's now well forward on the right-hand side. Jacob Wright available for the short pass. Norwich have retreated back towards the halfway line, but they still have possession. Can they carve out that opportunity to win it? Here's Nunez. Twists and turns. Gives it to Sorensen. Out towards Sainz on the left wing. Sainz quickly onto Marcondes. Marcondes gets the cross in. Sinats has scored! What a big goal that could be! A thumping finish from Ante Sinats, converting Marcondes' cross. He celebrates with the 900 Norwich fans behind that goal. It's the 90th minute, and it's Blackburn Rovers 0, Norwich City 1.
What a massive goal in this playoff chase. Unbelievable finish from Sinats. Exactly what they've been trying to do. We've been speaking about it all game. Play narrow, play nice into play. Can they get the ball wide from there and attack the box? It's a cutback, anti-sit. You want it on his left foot. He's got such a lovely balance and strike with his left foot, and he's put it where the keeper's got no chance. And we spoke about how important this last 20 minutes was, and the sending off has certainly shifted the momentum of the game. And could they find a winner in that last sort of 10-15 minutes? And hopefully now, fingers crossed, they see this last little bit out. But what an important goal that could be.
And what a thumping finish.
Great finish. Great, exactly where you want it, on his left foot. Similar to Slimani, where he's approaching one from the edge of the box, but what he's done there, he's kept it down. It's such a pure strike. Keeper's had absolutely no chance.
And Marcondes on as a sub, and he's made a difference. He's found the final pass, but the show's not over yet. 6 minutes of time added on, and here comes a Hashi for Blackburn into the penalty area. He's gone down. Referee's given a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. Blackburn are pleading with the referee. They're pointing inside the penalty area. They think that should be a penalty. It's tight. It's really tight. Without VAR, of course, in the Championship, they're going to have to live with it. It's going to be a free kick outside the box. But Norwich still celebrating, going 1-0 up in the 90th minute. They've now conceded a free kick right on the edge of their own box.
Just watching back again.
I think it is just outside.
I think it's outside. I thought it was outside at the time. He's ended up falling in the box, sort of, 4 or 5 yards inside the box by the time he's gone down. But the initial contact certainly looked outside, and that's the referee was in a good position, and he's given it outside the box.
I think he's got it absolutely right, having seen the replay. But just as Norwich had got themselves in a winning position, 1-0 up, worked so hard to score in the 90th minute, they very, very nearly allowed Blackburn straight back into it, and now they've got a free kick to defend. It's on the left edge of the Norwich penalty area as Blackburn look at it. Crucial. They're down to 10 men. Norwich have just taken the lead with that brilliant finish from Ante Sinats. But Blackburn have got a free kick in a really, really dangerous position. Norwich have everybody back almost in the 6-yard box to defend this. It is whipped. Oh, it's awful. Whipped by Callum Britton beyond everybody into the stand. And he's furious with himself.
Yeah, it's a difficult area to put across. It is a shot from there. You really are looking to shoot, and yeah, fortunately for us, he's put it into Rose Ed, and delighted to see that tricky situation sort of pass.
Ante Sinats, 1 goal in his last 17 games before today. But what a finish that was. And again, I mentioned it earlier on, he perhaps doesn't get the goals that you would like, given the price tag Norwich paid for him, but he works so hard for the team, doesn't he, Ante Sinats, and he's done that today.
He does. He takes up some really good positions. When they're in possession, he drifts inside, and he's a good size. He's a good size, and like I say, he has all the attributes to really come and contribute for the side, and his finish was brilliant.
Really good goal.
Probably who you want it to fall to in those areas on his left foot.
And here he comes again, Sinats, and he's found the pass to Sainz on the edge of the Blackburn penalty area. Ball has Sainz, goes for goal! Keeper parries it! Rebound is just going to take it out of the penalty area, though. Sargent was swooping. That was a really good save from Pears to get distance on the parry. Here's Sainz, goes down, no foul. Blackburn clear. Nunez tries to return it, he goes down, no foul. Nunez gets a foot to it again. Norwich have possession back. Still got 2.5 minutes of the stoppage time to play. Norwich are a goal up and a man up. That's a foul. Andy Vyman on Jack Stacey. And how this game changed with 10 minutes to go, 0-0. Blackburn really stepped it up and were piling the pressure on Norwich City. Then Emmanuel Dennis was sent off, rightly, for a second bookable offence with 5 minutes to go. That handed the initiative to Norwich, and Ante Siernas has crashed home across from Marcondes. But the game's not over yet, still got 2 minutes to go. On BBC Radio Norfolk, if it stays like this, Norwich will be within 2 points of the top 6. They will be right in the race, won't they?
Right in amongst it. At some point in the running, you're going to have to come and get big results against teams in and around you. We've still got a few of those sides to play, and it's real, the real jeopardy on this match is, and to come here and pick up a 1-0 result hopefully it finishes like this, puts a real statement out there that, do you know what, not only can we win away from home, but we all know how good the home record is, but if we can start nicking some of these results away from home as well, puts us in a real good position as we get into the business part of the season.
Well, Norwich got a top 6 finish last season with 6 away wins across the season. This will be their 5th away league win of this season. And it's amazing that the difference. Norwich at home, you get loads of goals. They've only kept 1 clean sheet. Away from home, they've only got 15 goals. But this would be, if they can see it out, it would be their 5th away clean sheet of the season. And if they do see it out, they've won the game. Here's Siernas, the goal scorer, coming through the middle. He gets tackled this time, though. Sargent goes to try and help him out. We're into the final minute of the stoppage time. A minimum of 6 were signalled. Jacob Wright, smart header forward for Norwich City. He's given it to Borja Sainz. Sainz, that's a really good tackle. Norwich have committed players forward here, and Jack Stacey wins it. Back high up the pitch, and he had to. Sainz helping him out. Siernas goes to win it, and Norwich have possession here with Duffy. Duffy caresses it to the feet of Nunez. Nunez plays it forward, but can't pick out the player in a yellow shirt. Yanisov Torup, I think, the way he's hopping up and down on the floor in front of us, would like Norwich to look after the ball a little better than they did then. They've handed Blackburn one last opportunity. It's with Travis on halfway. All 11 Norwich players back behind the ball. Travis is in the centre circle, goes right to find Britton. Tronstad's made a run in front of him. Norwich are sitting deep. It's a desperate ball towards the penalty area that Duffy tries to head away and get good distance on. They've got it back, Blackburn, on the edge of the penalty area. Ribeiro, the left back, is forward. Plays it in, Byman's header! He's equalised! Norwich City couldn't see it out! They couldn't see it out! And Blackburn have snatched an equaliser with stoppage time almost up. Andy Byman, the substitute, with a flicked header beyond Angus Gunn. And it is 1-1. And from joy, there's looks of disbelief and despair on the faces of those Norwich fans away to our right-hand side. Blackburn Rovers 1, Norwich City 1.
The game was there for them. They had the game won. There was no need for balls into midfield. I think it was Nunez that's flicked a ball round the corner, and you don't need to give the ball away. They've got 10 men. You either leave in the corner or you keep the ball, but you can't be giving away goals like that. Since they've gone down to 10 men, they've been no threat whatsoever. Blackburn have to see the game, but the game was there for them. It's so frustrating to see. They took Big Mac Targay off, and he was the main real threat. They took him off the pitch, and you think, well, just see the game out. You'd like to think you could defend crosses in the last minute of the game with the 2 centre backs, and the first time they've not done that. They've been punished, and I've said it. The game was there. They had the game in the palm of the hand, and it's 2 points given away, I think.
Well, I sense trouble, because as soon as the ball went astray, you could see Yanisov Torup was furious. Norwich, though, have played one forward themselves, so the goalkeeper catches it, and that will be the end of the game. As soon as it was Nunez gave the ball away, I mentioned it, Yanisov Torup, you could see his body language. He was jumping up and down on the spot. He was absolutely furious.
At some point, if you give them the ball, they're going to get it forward, they're going to put it in the box, throw them forward, and you have to manage the game better than that. You can't be playing balls into the middle of the pitch and flicking balls around corners when in the 94th minute of the game.
Well, there's the championship for you, how quickly emotions can change. It's finished 1-1. Probably 20 minutes ago, a point didn't look a bad result for Norwich City. Then it all changed with the sending off of Emmanuel Dennis, and Norwich snatching what we thought was going to be a 90th minute winner. Ante Siernas rifling in across from Marcondes. You score away from home in the 90th minute to go 1-0 up. That should be 3 points. But there's a big difference between should and then what actually happens. And Norwich City just didn't see the game out. They went forward looking for a second goal. They gave possession away. And Blackburn carved out one opportunity in the 96th minute, the final minute, and Andres Weimann has neatly headed in his 9th goal of the season. A thrilling finish. It all happened in the final 10 minutes here. I've been up and down all the way through it. There were times when a point felt like a decent result for Norwich City, but for the most part, the game looked there for the taking. It certainly looked there for the taking. 1-0 up against 10 men in stoppage time, but they couldn't do it, David. And in the end, that doesn't feel like a good point away from home after all, does it?